Here we are. Hello, everybody. Post-dual state. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. I'm going to get started here about 6 o'clock, here in about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Got a good show on tap for you. Lots of recap from dual state this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was a long Saturday.
I can remember all the good wrestling, but I can't remember what weights they were. I can't remember, but I know 6A was a blast.
Yeah.
That final, the final two, well, I guess the semis and the finals at 6A were nuts. It was fun.
It was good. It was good. There was some domination. There was some good matches. We knew the 4-5s and the 6-3s were going to be good, and they were. And
it, just as a spectacle, as a sporting event, it definitely delivered.
yeah, it did.
If you're as a wrestling fan, it was a whole lot of fun. And shoot, as a parent, I bet it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
Being
yeah.
there, those teams that came down to the end, really, there was a lot of noise and a lot of screaming, and I bet a lot of people, a lot of quiet car rides home.
Yeah, like I said, it's a long day. It's definitely a long day. Regional, there it is. So we'll dive into that. We will also dive tonight's. Boy, we got a good treat for you. We'll be joined a little bit here in a few moments with Total Head Wrestling Coach Bobby Williams about 6:15, and then 7:15 we'll have Stillwater Head Wrestling Coach
Ethan Kyle.
So
yeah, that'll be fun. And we've already had on champs from
tonight we'll have all the state champions
from Coweta and from Blackwell. So it's been a fun season so far for us. We got to talk to all the big dogs.
All of them. And we were able to I got busy today. I rendered 2 videos, but we were able to talk to 4 different coaches that will probably be on the site probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What was the Christian school we talked to?
Lincoln Christian.
Lincoln Christian's coach.
Yes.
He was a treat. I'd never met him before, so that was fun. Wes Harden, we talked to him from Salina. Ashton Cooper from Duncan.
Great interview.
Yeah. So got to talk to some of those guys, kind of getting ready for their postseason. It was fun. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, we had a treat. We got to be down on the floor and kind of be in the middle of all the action and get to visit with some of those guys. It was fun.
Okay. Do one more plug real quick. Let everybody know where.
And no Phil tonight. We'll have to do a tribute to Phil. Do we have a song and a video? And
we'll do a tribute to Phil. Okay, there was our tribute. Thank you, Phil. See you next time. Let's see here.
Yeah, and I'd love to get some questions too. If anybody's out there watching, I talked to a bunch of coaches, a bunch of people there. They have been watching the podcast. A lot of them don't catch it live. They go back and watch it,
Yeah.
Busy Mondays, but they'll watch it during the week or whatever. But yeah, anybody at home that was at the event, throw down some questions. It was fun. We got to see there was so much wrestling at one point. I talked to head coach at Wesleyan Baptist over in Bartlesville.
Yeah.
And he said that it's such a great event, but as a college coach up there trying to recruit, there's just so much to watch. 8 mats down there on the floor, trying to get your eyes on some of these kids and find them. It's really, really busy. Even down to the finals, there were so many matches I didn't get to watch in the finals just because I was focused on 6A, and there's a lot of wrestling, a lot of fun.
All right, let's get this party started. Hello and welcome inside the high school huddle. It is week 11. It is regional week here in the great state of Oklahoma. In the rearview mirror is the dual state tournament. What a tournament it was. We got a great show to talk to you all about that. Regionals this week, state tournament next week. This is prime time.
Yes.
Time to be an Oklahoma high school wrestling fan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they always talk about postseason, everything. You know, January is so busy trying to keep up with just the schedules, and everyone's wrestling so much. And then you get to postseason, and there's plenty to talk about, even though there's less wrestling going on.
Right.
It's a little easier to follow as far as what's up next. But man, there's so much good wrestling this time of year. It's like all the cream rises to the top, and it's a lot of fun.
He is the 3-time All-American Shawn Silvis. I'm Chris Evans. Got a great show for you. We're going to try to recap this in the next couple of hours. We got a jam-packed show. Phil Nichols not with us tonight, but here about 6:15 we'll have Tuttle. State champion wrestling coach Bobby Williams again. It's the same old song, but it is a new state championship. And it's always great to have that. And then a little bit later on the show, we will have Stillwater state champion head coach Ethan Kyle. So we got a great show. We're going to try to get all jam packed here in the next few hours.
Well, there's a common theme here. Trophies are getting dusted off. You know, some of these programs are, Tuttle. You know, like Perry, we've been talking a lot about just, trophies after trophies. I mean, they've got, 17 of them now for dual state. And then obviously Blackwell more and more. Stillwater starting, in 6A, even as loaded as 6A is, they still keep finding a way to get back to the finals and win things. So it's good to be an Oklahoma wrestling fan right now.
No doubt. And we will also, we picked our state brackets last week on this show, and the results are in. All I know
is I didn't win.
All I know is one of us did not finish dead last.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So,
okay. All right.
So we'll see who came up. I can tell you, it was close. It was extremely close, but we did not finish third. I can kind of guess who that is. If I had my highlighter, I would circle that name right there. Finished in a distance third, but no, it's so much to talk about. I got to tell you, I thought the crowds were great at the UMAC at Tulsa Union. What a perfect spot to have a state dual champion or any type of event. I don't even throw basketball, throw volleyball in there. A great venue.
Yeah, great venue for wrestling. They have, obviously for basketball or a big event, they would pull those bleachers out. But with wrestling, it takes a little more space with the mats on the floor. But what it does is it packs the stands.
Yes.
So it's fun to watch the teams move behind their mat. It's kind of unique to wrestling is, you don't, especially at a dual state tournament like that, you don't really set up shop. Like, this is our spot for now, but when my team moves, I'm going to move. And they, all the crowds move around all the different places, and they pack those stands behind those mats. And it gets rowdy, gets loud, especially in the finals. Even the semis, there were so many upsets or close matches. Someone would get a pin, the crowd would roar. It was, you'd be watching screaming on one end. Next thing you know, it gets loud over here. You're like, what did I miss? So a lot of fun.
Well, and the opposite side from the OSSA table, from where the announcers were, it's pretty tight quarters. I went over there to watch up close and personal behind the benches, and it's a little right where the stands. It's kind of tight fit to get in there. A little bit more room on where the OSSA scores table was at, but it was. Other than that, it's a great venue.
Oh yeah, and we would do interviews kind of in between or try to catch some coaches, but you kept catching me sneaking off. I would go up into the stands because up there from that top view, I was sitting kind of on the back row, not even 50-yard line. I was kind of in the end zone, if you will, what would be behind a goal. I could watch every match perfectly. Now my old eyes couldn't see the score as well, but my wife had it pulled up on track. So
it is nice to watch down if you're in the middle. Watch down the way.
Yeah, well, and we found that out even running cameras and stuff for the duels. I used to always be on the mat, but you're almost too close. So up top, there's a better view. You can kind of see, you can kind of see the other side of what's going on if you're up a little bit higher. So it was a great venue last year, great venue this year. I felt like it ran smoother this year.
Yeah,
they did a great job. Everything just ran flow. They stayed on schedule. So
really, no delays, or if there's any long injury timeouts or anything, it just kind of ran the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I talked to Wes on Sunday at a UCO duel. We had alumni night up there, and UCO won another conference championship and 31 dual straights. But I'm just plugging those guys because
I haven't lost a home duel since 2019.
I know
I think
we set a lot of records back when I wrestled there.
Right.
They're crushing them right now. So I'm happy, but I'm a little bitter. They've got a pretty powerhouse squad these days. But anyway, Wes had talked about. I told him, I said, man, I thought things ran smooth. You guys did a great job. And he goes, he's a perfectionist, and he says, man, no, things were good. I think everybody's happy. A couple things away, and we got to fix. There was this or that away. I'm like, Wes, be quiet, man. Everything was fine. Everybody was happy. So
yeah. Well, another thing I'll take from it here, again, coming up here in a few moments, we'll have Bobby Williams of Tuttle High School. I got the crowds were great. I thought Coweta crowd I think they won the duel in the stands.
Yeah, they showed up for sure. It helps that it was close, but I think they were traveling anyway. And we happened to be sitting behind them in the semifinals. They were on the far end, so they kind of set, I guess what would be the end zone seat, if you will. Man, they were into it. They were into it. It was a lot of fun.
They had a lot to cheer for. They had a lot to cheer for. And I will say this, we talked to Coach Gabe Ellis a couple of weeks ago, and if you want to watch that interview, it is on our High School Huddle YouTube page, and along with our other great interviews as well. They're all there. But Coweta dominated. They won their finals 49-21 over Carl Albert. We'll talk more about them. I'll just kind of get this. I think even without those wrestlers who moved in, I think they're still the 5A winner.
They're incredibly good, and we were talking, and I don't know if I should even say this on air, but like we were talking about best teams in the state. You got to put Coweta in there. Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're competitive with the Broken Arrows, the Bigsbys, the Stillwaters, the Edmond Norse. I mean, they're gonna, and the Blackwells. I mean, those are, and even, Tuttle's. You're talking best teams in the state. Coweta is every bit as good as any one of those teams. I would love to watch those duels head to head and see how they fare. But it was, golly, they're good. They were so dominant in 5A.
Yeah. Speaking of dominant, how dominant was Blackwell? It was, you have 8 mats on there for the first round and for the semis. And every time you look over at mat 1, or it would have been the other mat, and Blackwell's on there, they're done. Everyone else
first match, yeah.
Everyone else is still wrestling, and mat 1 is empty because Blackwell run ruled their opponent, all 3 opponents within 45 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes, but everyone else was going Blackwell. We're done, boys.
My son, we used to have to get on to him because when it was time to take a test at school, he had to be the first one done and get it turned in. And was like, hey, make sure you do it right. Well, they did it right, and they got done first.
Yeah, 67-12, 63-6, and 73-6. We'll dive more into these here a little bit later. 203-24 combined score.
Wow. 203 to what?
24.
24.
Yeah.
Would they lose 6 matches? 7 maybe?
I would say 6. I think it's 12-6-6. So
wow. And we watched almost a complete Salina duel. I mean, they have a good team. Marlowe's always tough, and for them to put up a couple wins against the Blackwell team, I mean, that's again one of the best teams in the state, and they're a 3A school.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean.
We'll talk to Coach Bobby Williams here with Tuttle in a few moments. 17 straight for the Tigers. I mean, now Coach Williams, and we'll talk to Coach Williams, but I think the blood pressure keeps going up every single year. It's not like he's sitting back and joined us. There's some hardcore coaching. I mean, he always coaches hard, but it was amped up a little bit.
Yeah, well, we actually ran into him at lunch. We took that dinner break before the finals, and we happened to end up where Tuttle was, and he came over and visited with us, and he was like, well, it's going to be a close. I mean, they handled their business, but it was, you could tell he was starting to think like, uh-oh, but not Bigsby, but who'd they wrestle in the finals? Salina.
Yes.
They were, you could tell he was like, no, they got a team, and they're coming. So it was just fun to watch him, like, well, we got to do this right.
Right. And we're going to go a little bit more deeper in all these, but also congratulations. We mentioned Blackwell, mentioned Coweta, mentioned Tuttle. Also want to say congratulations to Stillwater Pioneers on another state championship. Again, here about 7:15, we'll talk with Coach Ethan Kyle of the Pioneers, and we had him in the finals, and we also had last week on the show, we had him in the finals against Edmond North. Edmond North does not make the finals. Congratulations to Bixby, who gave Stillwater all they wanted to in the finals as well. You saw it up close and personal with the call there. But, Edmond North, we'll put it out there, had a couple injuries. Bixby had a couple guys gone as well.
Yeah.
And they both competed well.
That's what has me so excited about the state championships, because those two kids are going to be back.
Yeah.
Edmond North will rebound. Stillwater's not going anywhere. I mean, that's going to be – and the other thing, I don't know how the matches – I don't know how the brackets are going to line up as far as when the regionals are done, who's going to go where. But boy, the seeding going into state in 6A is going to play a huge factor in which one of those top three teams, and what I was looking at the regional brackets, boy, that East regional is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you got Stillwater, Bixby, and Broken Arrow all on the same side.
Yeah.
Or all coming out of the same regional. And again, it's like, boy, are they going to beat each other up and take each other's points early? I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's
going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, we're going to take our opening time out here on the High School Huddle. When we come back, it is the head coach of the Tidal Tigers have won their 17th straight, Coach Bobby Williams. So glad he can carve a little bit of time out of Spider-Man tonight to join us here. So we'll take a time out, come back, joined by the head coach after this here on the High School Huddle.
What? Mom? Mom, wake up. What happened?
It's this window estimate. We can't afford this.
I thought you already called Red River Windows.
I know. Red River does have the best looking, most energy efficient windows.
Mom, what are we waiting for? Let's call Red River.
Are you ready to secure your legacy? At Black Oak Alliance, we understand that your hard work has built a future for yourself and your family. Our team of expert advisors is here to guide you through estate planning, helping you protect your assets, minimize taxes, and ensure your family's financial security. Black Oak Alliance has the experience and expertise to tailor a plan just for you. Schedule a no-cost consultation today. Visit us online at blackoakalliance.com or 405-724-6328. Black Oak Alliance, protecting your legacy.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
At Mosquito Pest Authority, our job is to keep you pest-free. Our signature mosquito control service and pest-proof barrier 360 service ensures that you aren't bothered by mosquitoes outside or pests inside. That's right, 2 brands, 2 services, only 1 visit needed. Don't believe us? We guarantee it, or we'll come back at no charge to you. No mosquitoes, no pests, no contracts, guaranteed. Call Ronnie and Sarah Phillips today at 405-916-0471. Welcome back inside the High School Huddle. Monday, February 16, 2026, President's Day. A lot of folks, a lot of kids out of school today with President's Day. So good job for those kids to be out of school again. It seems like they're always out of school. It feels that way. I know it's not. But
I know I must be getting old, because now it's like I always say, like, well, back in my day, we never got out of school for anything.
Right. Oh, man. So it is a regional week this week here in the great state of Oklahoma. Next week is the state tournament again at the OG&E Coliseum. Can't wait to see that in person. I've seen it. I've done a couple walkthroughs with the OSSAA, and there's dirt from rodeos that happened. So haven't seen a sporting event in there yet. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I still haven't got to go inside yet, so I'm excited as well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. We bring in our special guest, the head coach of the Tidal Tigers, Coach Bobby Williams. His Tidal Tigers win another state championship, their 23rd dual state tournament. Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope everything's going well with you. Oh, let me...
We might be muted here. Coach, you there? We still don't have him. We are pushing buttons. Coach, you there? Well, You don't happen to be muted on your end, do you, Coach? Give us just a second. Chris is working his magic on that end.
Video audio started.
The power of technology. You can hear us and we can see you. You don't happen to know sign language, do you, Coach?
You got me?
Hey, there we go. We got you.
There it is.
We got him, Chris. You might turn us back down our ears here. All right.
Hey, sorry about that.
Still
Hey,
there?
thank you
Turn it back
guys
up now.
for
Now it's
having
back
me
off.
on.
There we go. We got you?
I think you got me.
He's back off again.
I didn't touch anything.
It's showing volume on my end.
You were super loud and then you weren't.
Maybe.
There you are. There you are. We got you now. You still there?
I hope so.
Perfect. We're perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, thank you guys for having me on. It was showing volume on my side.
Yeah,
Wow.
If you could see off the set, there's all kinds of bells and whistles and knobs and things. I can point and ask questions, but I don't touch anything over there.
We're not a state. We're not up to state championship level over here, I guess. I don't know. We've done 85,000 interviews over here, nothing here. So I'm going to start completely over, though, Coach. So we do this right for the replay. All right. We bring in the head coach of the Tuttle Tigers, thankfully, Bobby Williams. Coach, thanks for joining us. Man, what a great weekend it was once again for the Tuttle Tigers.
Yeah. Hey, again, thank you guys for having me on. The goal as a team to win a dual state title, and there's one goal accomplished, and so it's exciting. It was an exciting night.
Coach, it was a great atmosphere at the UMAC. It's there's so many places in the state that can host it, but the UMAC is near the top as far as a facility for 8 mats and for the crowds that the state wrestling tournament brings.
Man, it's there's not a bad seat in that place for dual atmosphere like that. It don't matter where you're sitting. You can see every dual, every mat. Like you said, it's a great atmosphere for wrestling. Great atmosphere for dual state.
Yeah. I always think, you've won 17 of these in a row. How do you keep the team hungry? I know in Tuttle, that's what you do. I understand that. Football, basketball, wrestling. I get that. Baseball. Coach Draper would get upset with me if I didn't mention baseball. But man, what is it that keeps you guys at this high of a level every single year? Obviously, you're very talented. Obviously, coaches know what they're doing, but still, you got to have the focus. Where's that come from?
Yeah. So we really don't talk about the streak thing. Every year is a new team, some same faces, of course, but the dynamic of a team is different every year. And so we sit down, we talk as a team, and we talk about goals and where they want to be individually and as a team. And, every year these guys set high standards for themselves. And there's a high standard in our program, of course. And, they got to reach that bar. But, they're excited for these moments. It never gets old. It doesn't, to reach this. I've been on the other side of it too. I was on some Tuttle teams where we didn't win dual state, lost to the Cushing Tigers twice when I was in high school. So that still, resonates with me. I'm like, guys, this is something that we want to accomplish. You guys want to accomplish, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you guys reach a goal that you set out as a team. And so, never gets old. It's always exciting. And the guys, they rally around each other for this moment. We really enjoy dual state. It's a great event, and they're excited. Coming Friday and driving up and ready to rock.
Yeah. So, Coach, you obviously wrestled for Tuttle yourself, won a state title, went on to college. He's 2-time All-American. So, but from on the competition side as a wrestler, and now you're on the competition side as a coach. What is the main difference for you? Is it still like a competitive thing? Is it more of I want to see these guys have the same success I had? Like, what is it that drives you to get such production out of these guys? Is it more of the competitor in you, or is it something else?
being from Tuttle, being a Tuttle guy, there's a lot of pride that goes into this. Of course, being from, this is my hometown. And so, we'll do anything in our power to make sure that these guys have everything they need to reach the goals that they set for themselves. And so there's probably on both ends. I really, really enjoy developing our wrestlers and seeing a kid that, started in 7th grade and now is in our lineup and is having a lot of success. We got quite a few of those guys through our history of our program. And so there's a little bit of both, me being from Tuttle and, I care a lot about the program, and all of our wrestlers that have been part of this know, no one's bigger than the brand of Tuttle. Tuttle's a very unique place in a sense, like you guys mentioned it. We're successful in a lot of things with a bunch of different kids. And so, they're going to do everything they possibly can to not let this thing slide.
As a head coach, I think it might be maybe a little bit better than an athlete, because you got 14 matches in one night compared to when you're wrestling, you only have one, you're done. But as a coach, you have 14. So that's kind of a good deal. Yeah.
I still remember being in a Tuttle singlet, and those are, memories that I'll have forever. And, now I get to be on this awesome side of sitting in their corners and, supporting them and being there for them. And so, it's, this will never get old. So we're going to keep doing everything we possibly can to stay where we are. And it's a lot of work, and the guys, they meet us, and their expectations are really high.
We before we get into the dual and regional and upcoming state, I do have a question. We're talking about Tuttle, another 4A state championship. When will we start talking about Tuttle in 5A? Are we 2 years? Are we 5 years? Are we 10 years? When's the you think the crystal ball might say for Tuttle to bump up?
Yeah, that talk of us going up to 5A, I think started like 7 years ago. It's been a while. People are like, oh, Tuttle's growing. Tuttle, the city is growing, of course, but you guys know how it works. I mean, they can build 10,000 more homes, but if they're not bringing kids into the school, it's just 10,000 more homes. So there are housing additions popping up everywhere, and we're seeing some growth, but it's kind of up and down. It's kind of how Tuttle's been when it comes down to kids that are entering the schools. We're a veteran community right outside the city, so a lot of people just move out here to get out of the city. So the city itself is growing, of course. For me to tell you, like, when are we going to be 5A? Man, if I could predict the future, guys, we'd all be in a different spot, right?
One more. How competitive is the tri-dual? Being from we're from Guthrie, but we always hear about Tuttle, Blanchard, and Newcastle. Tell me what's it like in the tri-dual area, competitive wise, athletic wise?
Tri-City area, man. Of course, Newcastle and Blanchard. I'm from Tuttle, so of course you don't. I mean, they're good people. They're great people over there in Newcastle and Blanchard. But when it comes down to athletics, guys, we don't like them, right? So they're our big rivals, and they're great people. But we want to beat them in everything we possibly can. I think we haven't wrestled Newcastle in a long time. We wrestled Blanchard for the first time since, I believe, we wrestled in dual state several years ago this year. So, but it's highly competitive in all sports. Yeah. And of course, you got it's Newcastle, Blanchard, Bridge Creek's right down the road as well.
That's true.
And so, our little area where we're at it's growing. And of course, we want to beat those teams in everything we possibly can. And it feels really good to do it too.
Yeah. Bridge Creek's over here. Mustang's not too far away either. And as far as school districts butting up against each other.
Yes, with all of that wrestling that's going on in that area, is your Little League program, your feeder program, is that key to you guys, or are there several of the smaller club programs? Like, how does that work for Tuttle? Like, where are those kids coming from?
Yeah, we have, of course, we have our Tuttle Wrestling Club, our Tiger Wrestling Club. And, this year we were fortunate enough to have Luke Serber step in with Jody Marple and Jake Rolsholt and BJ Jackson helping out. So that's a great feeder program. Of course, there are Little League clubs popping up all over the place. Yeah. And so, if they got a kid that's good and moving around, whatever it is, of course, if some kid's a stud, you're like, yeah, man, they're moving into Tuttle, then they're coming to Tuttle. Yeah. That dynamic of if you're going to get somebody, you have no idea.
Right.
Tuttle doesn't accept transfers. You have to live in Tuttle to go to Tuttle. And so, but yeah, there's some dynamics there of little league clubs all around Oklahoma City in our area, where there could be a Tuttle kid going to one of them that we haven't seen forever, and then all of a sudden, hey, he's been at Tuttle schools this whole time.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Jody Marple. He was he recruited me to go to UCO and was in my room. Talk about a guy in your room. I got a lot of respect for Jody, so lucky to have him there. But his kid's not too bad either.
No, Bostic and Titus and their daughter, they all wrestle, man. And Bostic will be a 9th grader next year.
Yeah. Oh wow. Wow, that'll be fun. So let me ask you this. There's obviously, you were talking, Tuttle athletics is a big deal. Obviously, you guys want to win all that, but your culture in Tuttle to me feels different than most places. What is it that's different about Tuttle wrestling that's, I don't know, there's a different culture when I go there, when people talk about it. From my end, it's more of a reverence. You guys don't see that. You guys just think of yourselves differently, but talk about that culture you've created down there.
Yeah, we're extremely blessed with a bunch of people. I mean, it takes a village to, be able to do what we're able to do. A lot of support through the community, past alumni coming in and helping out, like BJ Jackson. I have Brody Spencer. These are all guys that wrestled and grew up in Tuttle that are still helping out today. Coach Serber's still around, of course. He's our principal, comes in the room, wrestles, helps out. Greg Henning will pop in every now and then. Still giving back. And so we just have a tremendous support system for Tuttle wrestling. A lot of people care about this program, and like I said, it takes a village, and we got a great one. And that part of it's very unique, and we're just blessed to have that.
The numbers represent that. Tuttle 23 state championships in dual state tournaments. That's more than anybody. They have won 17 in a row. That's more than anybody. And they've made the dual state tournament 20 years in a row. Coach, you guys get victories over Skytook, Cushing, and Bristow. What's the first match that comes to your mind at this moment from last weekend?
Like which team or individuals? There was
individuals, yeah.
Yeah, individual matchups. We had some big ones that we're going to see, in a couple weeks. And some that's going to help out when it comes down to some seeding criteria for regionals. But, I think we had a couple state final matches that happened in some of these duels that were really important, that we, came out on the plus side of those and were able to stretch the lead over that person. Because, always tell those guys who have those matches, man, you got to find ways to separate yourself even more. Because we've wrestled one of them that I think we're going to have in the state finals again if everything works out right. We spread our lead on this kid. So got to go do it in a couple weeks again. But, you got to make a statement. It's always fun wrestling Cushing. Love Barry. They do a great job over at Cushing. We had them in the semis. Same thing with Bristow. With the starting weights, it's like when I ran into Shawn, where we were starting at in the duel itself, I knew it could get a little tight there for a little bit until we got to more of our veteran lineup. Mm-hmm. A lot of people who didn't know our lineup and saw the score was 22-3 at one time.
Yeah, yep.
And it was loud down there too.
Came back and scored 40 unanswered points on them. So into the duel 43-22. But I knew, and I don't like it when I'm right, and I'm sitting here trying to look at these duels, and I'm like, okay, this could happen, and then it ends up happening, and I'm like, okay, well, hate it that I'm right now, but it's not something that we didn't expect. I was taught really well by Serber to, don't lay any stone unturned. You got to kind of look at it all different ways and make sure that if it doesn't go the way you think, you at least have some plan in place in case you have to, throw a Hail Mary or something out there. But the duel went the way, unfortunately, on paper, when we lost some of those matches that, of course, you don't want to ever lose a match in any of them. But, it was an expected deal on some of those weights, and some of them, we didn't get bonus on a couple that I thought we would, and then we had guys get bonus that I didn't think. So some surprises and some good surprises. Of course, you like to win every one of them, but you got to prep for it. And the guys responded well. They stayed together. I talked to them. I was like, hey, no matter what it is, this is where this could be a situation. You guys just make sure you're trying not to go out there and don't over wrestle and put yourself in a bad spot. Go win your match, and then you got opportunity to get bonus. Go get bonus because we're going to need it.
Yeah, honestly, I was watching when you guys were down by that disc. I was like, okay, I know it's coming, but I want to see in the moment how they react to this. And of course, you guys rose to the occasion when needed.
Yeah, just like carrying water. They just picked it up and kept doing what they do.
We're lucky. We have a core group of guys right there when it starts at 120. And when we got to 120 and things started rolling back to our way, I knew we were going to be all right.
Yeah,
of course, we can take care of business.
Yeah, when you're down by a touchdown and Tom Brady's your quarterback and there's 2 minutes to play, more than likely it's going to go result in a touchdown, but you still want to see it and kids perform when it comes time to perform.
Coach, when you're on the mat yourself as an athlete, you kind of know what you're capable of. You kind of have some confidence, even if you're down, you can go get one. I mean, that you're an All-American, but as a coach sitting there in situations like that, is it more nerve-wracking knowing like, all right, I got these knucklehead kids. What's the emotions like? What, you got confidence in yourself different than, do you have that kind of confidence in these kids? Have you seen them perform in the past? Like, no, we're good. We're fine. I mean, or are you just putting on a game face and just, swelling up inside trying to hold it together?
Well, I was all kinds of emotions for a little bit there. Like I said, you don't want to lose any matches and you get highly competitive and, you kind of lose your temper for a little bit. But, I have confidence in those guys and all of our guys. But we get to that core group and I was like, all right, this is where, these guys have been all over the country wrestling. They have been in tight duels. They've been in big duels. This isn't a moment that they're not used to. They're going to be fine. We're going to bounce back. And whenever we got rolling and the momentum shifted, then I could kind of set back a little bit and start thinking like, all right, how do we expand our lead here? Because there was several of those dudes where, I had full confidence that we are going to get a lot of bonus at some of those weights. And, they're proven to do it. They have the skill to do it. But no, it was the old emotional roller coaster of it. I still get caught up into it. Like
I saw it a few times.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love it though.
Yeah. For us, it's great. It's entertaining. We're not out there sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few more gray hairs and a little bit more stress, but it's all right. We got some things we got to fix, of course, with some of those matches that we dropped, and those guys get some attention this week. And really, it's all about the most important tournament till the next one. I mean, regionals is the most important tournament till the next one. Can't wrestle on the next one unless you have a good weekend.
Absolutely. You've mentioned Coach Serber a few times. You assistant coached with him for a few years, didn't you, before you took over as head coach? How valuable was that for you in moments like you're talking about to kind of to sit back and watch him and then learn from him and kind of still have him in your hip pocket, even though you're calling the shots now, doing your thing, but to have him around, how valuable is that?
Man, it's great. I have a unique perspective on it because Greg Henney was my coach for a little while, and Serb was an assistant, and then Serb took over the summer between my freshman and sophomore year. So he was my head coach for 3 years in high school, and then I went off to college, and I came back. This is my 10th year back at Tuttle, and so to be under him for several years and being able to learn and still have him around to either tell me I'm doing something that I should be doing differently or, being able to bounce things off of him. Because I was like, hey, man, I need some help here. I'm not sure what to do in this certain situation. I can just go ask him. Even if I don't like the answer, sometimes he's going to give it to me. And that's fine. And, I
he will
love
do
him
that.
to death. He's a second father to me. And it's just great to be able to have him there. You got a legend and a coach that's right down the hallway. So that's always a great tool to have, and very blessed and thankful that he's still around to be able to, show some guidance on things. He talks to our guys a lot too. They can ask Serb things, or Serb will correct them on things as well. And so, he's awesome.
Yeah, I look around at your coaching staff, the guys that are around the program. Even I didn't know Greg was still around. Coach Henning, having a legend like him, and obviously Serber, now you, all the guys in your room. It's got to be nice. Sometimes you tell a guy the same thing 1,000 times, they never listen, and then they hear the same thing from a different guy, and boy, it's the gospel the minute they hear it. That's got to be nice to have. You guys are total guys. You're on the same page. You all want the same thing. It's got to be nice to have such a great staff around you.
Oh man, I'm extremely blessed. It's me, Coach Spencer, and Corey Hawk. All three of us are Tuttle guys. We all graduated from Tuttle. And then I have my young coach, Jalen Otero. He's a Catoosa guy, wrestled at the same college as I did. That's how I got to know him. And so we have, all the same mindset. We all really, really care about these kids and want them to reach their individual goals and team goals. And, have Serb and BJ Jackson and, Greg Henning isn't in the room as much as he used to be. He'll tell you he's just getting older. So, Greg's still around. He comes to every match he possibly can. Our tournament's named after him, so he comes back for that. I had him last year come in, show practice, and, he's willing to do that anytime. But like I said, he'll tell you he's just getting a little bit older. It's not as easy for him to get out there, but he did good, man. I think he's older than you think he is. Greg's taking care of himself, and he's doing really well.
Yeah. So I've got, moving on to postseason, just wrestling questions in general. It seems like the game is so much different now than it was back when I competed. You're a little bit younger than me, so you've competed a little bit newer, but you're still producing high-level athletes. You got kids going to colleges all over the place, some of the best colleges in the country. They're coming right out of Little Tuttle, Oklahoma, but yet the game is changing. You guys are keeping up. What do you see that? Are you guys adopting, still doing what you've always done? How are you able to keep up with this ever so changing game?
Yeah, so there's still some fundamental core beliefs that we have that we, basics, of course, you're always going to win with basics, but you got to keep up with the ever revolving things of wrestling. And it's crazy that some technique comes and it goes, and some things are back and that, you haven't seen in a while. We all watch a lot of wrestling. All of our coaching staff does. And so, anything that we see, we think we can implement that works for our guys. Each one of our guys are different. They all have a different style to them. So you got to work with what you got on that end. And, we don't – when I say we don't have like a certain style of wrestling, all of our guys do something a little bit different. You could wrestle some teams, you're like, oh, they're going to be a front headlock wing team. That's all you got to really, you coach up and ready for that. I think we're kind of tough because we have some dudes that just all wrestle a little bit different. And so we spend a lot of individual time with them, kind of sharpening their skills and where we think that they could incorporate different techniques to better themselves. And so, we do a lot of homework, and, every week after duels or tournaments, it's individual notes for those guys of where we need to do better, if it's, technique or if it's mental. The game's changing. The game's always changing.
Will you guys sit down as a staff and kind of talk about, okay, the 113 pounder, this is where we think he needs to be? Is it a staff thing? Is it just kind of in practice, guys kind of helping out, or more deliberate, more loose?
We have a little, group text, and I always ask them like, hey guys, if there's anything you guys see, I've even done it too, where one of our coaches are overseeing like these three weights.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your three dudes, like make sure that they're getting better, breaking it down. Cause you got to have eyes on everybody, and you can't get caught just being on one side of the room, because then the other side of the room may be doing something completely different. So you got to have eyes everywhere. And we've done it that way where, you guys got them, you make sure that they're getting what they need. And it's a staff talk. We talk quite a bit. We all get along really well as a staff. Except three of us are from Tuttle. The other one, our young buck, he's always at the wrestling room. I think he lives there half the time. So he's helping out Little League, and, we're all in the junior high practices. So that's a unique thing that we all get to be with our kids constantly. And so, there's eyes on all of them.
If you're at you're doing junior high as well, are you excited with what you see coming up?
Yeah, we have some young kids that are we're tough, and there's a lot to work with. And our junior high this year was an extremely coachable group. Wow. We didn't have we have some guys that are really good. We had several junior high state placers and things like that, but we have a group that's coming that is really coachable. People may not know who they are right now, but just give us a little bit of time, and they'll start being some household names.
It felt like a threat almost.
I started wrestling in 7th grade. Yeah, I started wrestling in 7th grade. So I take a lot of pride in developing a 7th grader. I wasn't a guy that wrestled since they were 4 years old or anything like that. I started in 7th grade. I'm a 7th grade product. Was lucky enough to have a good high school career and go on to college. So I know it can be done. I've had guys that, I got one at UCO right now wrestling, Tucker Waitman, who was a 7th grade product. 2-time state champ for me. Yeah. And so I take a lot of pride in those guys, and we got more of those guys. And I'm not saying his junior high career was very good. It wasn't. But we were able to turn it around in high school and get him on the right track.
I want to bring up Shawn Roundsville. I think he's been at Tuttle High School for 27 years. It feels like because of the football and wrestling. I think he's his 28th year. I think he might be out of eligibility here come May. But talk about him. He's so big time on the football field. He was surrounded by McAdoo, and then the quarterback comes in. But he's always been that pulse, that heartbeat for football wrestling. It seems like whether he's a young kid or now a senior, a freshman, now a senior, he's always been involved.
Yep. We have several of those guys. That's funny you say that, because when you got a guy that starts as a freshman, it does feel like that. I look at some other teams, I'm like, this dude's been in high school for 6 years now. Like, how in the world? But now, in reality, you see him every year. So he's been a name. He's had a lot of success and a lot of things that he does. And so of course, we haven't quite ended our season the way we wanted it yet. He's a 2-time runner-up. Last year, of course, he was hurt as a junior. We got big goals as a senior this year to end our wrestling career at Tuttle the right way this time around. And so, but no, he's a great all-around athlete. It's always great to have a big guy that can wrestle really well. Not just like a big guy. He can move. Yeah. And he's out there 190 pounds, hitting low singles and throwing in legs and everything else. And so he's a different feel for those big guys and is really successful doing it because he's strong and, he just moves well. We expect a lot out of him. He expects a lot of himself. Like you said, they seem like they're around forever whenever they're a household name.
Yep.
People just know who they are.
Yeah, especially in a small town like Tuttle.
Absolutely.
They get to watch him year round, sounds like.
A few more minutes here with Coach Bobby Williams of the Tuttle Tigers. Coach, you guys are hosting regionals this week. Outside the wrestling, when you host, is there a whole lot of work that goes into? I know Athletic Director Shawn Brooks helps with that, but how much more work is it to host a regional?
Of course, it's like setting up a tournament. We host a lot of tournaments, guys. I think we host 5 tournaments a year. And so, that part of it, it's clockwork. There's still just a lot that goes into it, of course. And with regionals is actually pretty simple to host because, you get a schedule and you got to follow the schedule. There's not like your own home tournament where, you can kind of move some things around or, make adjustments. No, like you just set the mats up. You make sure you got people to work it, and you just got to follow the packet that they send you, and you just stick with it. Wes does a great job getting all the information to every place that's hosting a regional. And it's pretty simple. It's nice because, we host once every 4 years, it seems like, just so our guys at one time can be at home for a regional is kind of the thing we've been doing for a while now. And so, it's just a little bit more work on the setup. That's about it. Set up and tear down. Outside of that, they get to go home, sleep in their own beds at night. And, it's pretty normal. They just like you said, another Tuesday because they get the rest of the Tuttle gym. And so, we host a lot of tournaments and we have a great support system that helps with that. Got an outstanding booster club that helps out and, takes a lot of things off my plate to make these tournaments easier. And so, we got a great track person in Courtney Slover. She's a phenomenal track runs all that stuff. I think she sets down a computer, runs like 6 tournaments at once. She's great at her job. And so, we got a lot of people that can help out in a big way. And so looking forward to hosting the regional. It's been, like I said, 4 years since we've done it. So
And I'm glad you highlight everybody because it is a production and you have to do that. You didn't mention a hospitality person, but I'm sure they'll have a big job in case Shawn stops by.
She's fine. She does a great job. She knows.
Yeah.
So
talking about starting out coaching, when I first started coaching, one of my coaches, he picked tournaments based on the hospitality room. If they didn't have a good one, we didn't go back.
There's some really good ones out there.
There are.
Gary, Oklahoma. Gary, Oklahoma has a great hospitality room, and they're pretty known for it. And so, that is one way I guess you could base tournaments off of.
There's other criteria that probably matters, but
yeah. I hardly ever even go to hospitality rooms. It's kind of upsetting.
Well,
I see a lot of people walking around.
He's from Tuttle. He's on the mat the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, during the console rounds, he goes to the hospitality room.
Well, Coach, man, it was great to see you this weekend. Got to see you at lunch as well, and congratulations to your Tigers again. I know the do you feel the expectations, the pressure? Surely it's got to be there because I think there might be one day in the future, maybe 40, 50 years from now, that Tuttle doesn't win a state championship. But do you? I said 50 years, so you'll be retired. But do you feel that?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, do you feel that at all?
Like I said, we don't. I really like with the things like streaks and things like that. We don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about that stuff. I at least don't. And it's kind of funny. You brought up Tom Brady, and I watched his like Patriots thing, and I've learned something like he calls like delayed gratification. So like as soon as it's over, guess what, guys? It's next year. And so like you don't really get a chance to really set back. I mean, it's very enjoyable, but I just look to see how much we can get out of 14 guys and how, and 14 individual goals and putting our best step forward. Is there pressure? Probably. And expectations are high, of course, but I think we do a great job with being relaxed in our room, just making sure the guys are having fun at, doing what they want to do, making it where it's not a job, that they're enjoying the moments and, just trying to carry on a legacy. Really, it's about their own goals. If they have high goals and they meet their own goals, guys, it takes care of the team.
Yeah.
And, we have a great group, and they rally together. They feed off each other. And, that even works, kids that may not be in lineup now are still in the room working hard with them. And, those guys step in. We've had a lot of guys that don't get opportunities to start till their senior year for Tuttle. And they end up being a state champ. Like, they didn't get a chance to start any year, and they're finally a senior program guy and, win the ultimate thing you want to win in wrestling as a high school athlete, as a state title.
I've asked the same question to Lauren Montgomery of Bixby, Mike Dunn of Carl Everett, and you echo the same thing of just being able to handle those expectations. And they say the exact same thing as you guys. So, I mean, it's so important for coaches to have that mindset to send that to 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to do that. So, Coach, man, we appreciate – I know you got Spider-Man on the TV going right now, but, man, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck this week at Regionals, and can't wait to see you at the OG&E Coliseum. It's going to be a great time to open up that new facility.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for doing this. This is awesome for our wrestling community in Oklahoma. We need more stuff like this, of course, and so thank you guys for everything you do.
Coach, congratulations on another dual state championship.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you. Head coach Bobby Williams of the Tuttle Tigers, and I always like asking those questions of coaches who win state championships often, like the ones I mentioned, and just how to handle those. I'm a mental. I'm always thinking I don't want to be the guy to do this or that. It's great to have leadership at that kind.
When pressure's a funny thing. When you have high expectations of yourself, and you have high expectations of the people around you, or maybe the people that you're trying to help. Yeah. If they have high expectations of themselves, well, then there is no pressure because we all just have the same goal. You know what I mean? There no one's pushing you. There's no pressure. So it seems. I mean, obviously, that's what they do. That they just have high expectations and they work towards those goals together. And I mean, they just keep winning.
I need a Coach Williams in my life because I'd be like, man, I can't be the one to do this. Oh, we're down 23-3, and now it's going to go away. And so I need some Coach Williams to hey, been here, done that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to be fine. So I love it.
Yeah. Hey, you've built that graphic before. You've written, you've done this article before. It's fine. You got this.
All the Total fans have these 17 times signs everywhere. Am I going to mess that up? See, that's where I go mentally. But winning's contagious. And
in his head, that 17 just turns to an 8. That's all he sees.
Yes.
He don't see this. He's like 7. What's 17? There's 8. We're going 18s today.
Yeah, 64-8 over Sky. It took 49-24 over Cushing, and then 37-22 over Bristol. So they went at 150-54 combined.
To a solid Cushing team and to a solid Salina team. Those teams are
Bristol.
I'm sorry,
yes.
And they're good.
No,
they're solid.
And I said earlier before we brought Coach on that Bristol was getting a little bit closer, but it's still 37-22.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the tournament stuff. In order for them to get closer, the other teams are going to have to help beat Tuttle, just so that they can. Because obviously, head to head, it's you know, it's a long night for anyone that steps on the mat with them.
It might take Class 5A to slow them down. That's why I kind of asked the question there. I mean, they're still going to be the favorite. Don't get me wrong. Once that day comes, but they're just a machine right now.
You ask them to step up. I got a feeling they're going to be fine.
Yeah. They can go 6A next week and compete there as well. So big thank you to Coach Bobby Williams. All right, take another break. Coming up here in a few moments as well, we'll be joined by the Stillwater Pioneer head wrestling coach, Ethan Kyle. We'll have him and talk about his Pioneer State Championship. But on the other side of this timeout, we're going to talk a little bit more. We can talk a little Blackwell and Coweta. And if you have any questions or comments, be glad to have those on here as well. But we got a long way to go here on the High School Huddle.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma Streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
At Mosquito and Pest Authority, our job is to keep you pest-free. Our signature mosquito control service and pest-proof barrier 360 service ensures that you aren't bothered by mosquitoes outside or pests inside. That's right, 2 brands, 2 services, only 1 visit needed. Don't believe us? We guarantee it, or we'll come back at no charge to you. No mosquitoes, no pests, no contracts, guaranteed. Call Ronnie and Sarah Phillips today at 405-916-0471.
Are you ready to secure your legacy? At Black Oak Alliance, we understand that your hard work has built a future for yourself and your family. Our team of expert advisors is here to guide you through estate planning, helping you protect your assets, minimize taxes, and ensure your family's financial security. Black Oak Alliance has the experience and expertise to tailor a plan just for you. Schedule a no-cost consultation today. Visit us online at blackoakalliance.com or 405-724-6328. Black Oak Alliance, protecting your legacy.
Porch pirates come in many forms. When damaging hail and windstorms hit Oklahomans, non-registered and unqualified roofers flood the neighborhoods. And unsuspecting Oklahomans think they can trust these guys because they have a nice truck. Oklahoma owned for over 2 decades, Red River Roofing Siding and Windows is top level trained and certified by the best manufacturers. Red River Roofing Siding and Windows, protecting Oklahoma families one roof at a time.
Welcome back inside the High School Huddle. Shawn, Silvis, Chris Evans with you on this Monday night. Appreciate everyone checking out the live show. I know a lot of folks watch the playback as well. We appreciate those as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, YouTube is our homepage where all of our shows are archived, all of our interviews. We got some interviews that we'll be uploading maybe tonight, probably tomorrow on the site. We talked with Duncan. We talked with Salina. We talked with Lincoln Christian. And we also spoke with somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but that'll be up on the YouTube page here for too long. During the break, Shawn, we were talking. We've talked to so many great coaches here. Coach Bobby Williams, Coach Ethan Kyle coming up here in a minute. Gabe Ellis. We've talked to a bunch of them. The Lincoln Christian coach, A.B. Stokes, that we'll have on the YouTube page probably tomorrow. That's a must watch.
Yeah,
that's a must watch. But all these coaches do a great job, have been put in place by administrators that obviously go through the interview process. And these guys that we're listening to, well, no wonder they're head coaching. No wonder they're winning, because just talking with us, you can see how they would, A, win an interview, and B, win these state championships.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking,
and I'm not even talking X's and O's. Obviously, that's there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But, it's like when you think about Bobby Williams going to Tuttle, well, like after talking with him, we're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But he's around. I mean, they could have hired anybody to go down to Tuttle. Absolutely. I mean, everyone
they could have done a national search to make it look prestigious.
Yeah, everyone's hands in the air raised, like everyone wants to be there, and they see or they saw then what we see, 5 years later, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like there's an obvious reason why this is going on. And, all these coaches that we're seeing with these high level programs, there's a lot of similarities, even though they're kind of different personalities, a lot of similarities to success when it comes to coaching or the sport,
Yeah, no doubt. Some other action. We'll talk 6A wrestling here in a little bit. Definitely want to get in some 3A and 5A when we can here. We might have to get 5A after 6A because we got Coach come up here in a few moments. But my Blackwell Maroons, Shawn Silvis, hello. My state championship. By the way, I picked all 4 state champions.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll get to that a little bit later on as well. But my Blackwell Maroons, the motivation that I give, I don't know if my state championship has been, I haven't got my ring size request yet.
Is it because he talked to you and told you sorry about your pick and now you're
Well, I talked to Coach Klein many times this past weekend, but the Maroons 67-12 over Hobart, 63-6 over the Perry Maroons.
little off on that prediction?
Well,
but
I had the 3.
You got it right though.
I had the 3 and the 6. I had that part of the equation right, and then they beat Salina. A very good Salina who beat Marlowe in the semis.
A very good Marlowe.
They beat Salina 73-6. You're like, man, that's a lot of points in the finals. That you're right, and that is a record. 73 points in a dual final is the most points ever. Blackwell, your Perry Maroons, 72 points back in 2018, and Blackwell put 73 in the finals.
Wow. They're just, the style that they wrestle, it's so, every time I talk about Blackwell, I say the same thing. It's like, I love to hate them because when we're on the receiving end of that, it's not fun. No. It's not fun. And their crowd, you heard their crowd's there, and that's their team, period. And they yell for them, they scream for them. Cut him. Like they're all up there coaching, take him down again, score again. They're just relentless. They're just relentless. They do not let up. They don't stop. If there's 10 seconds on the clock and they're winning by 10, you're probably going to get pinned if they have it their way. And it's every kid at every weight, whether it's their best kid or their worst kid, he's still a stud, and he's still wrestling with that mentality. Not to mention they know what they're doing. It's not just aggression, it's technique, it's the whole package. And man, it's you draw them on the bracket and you draw a dog.
Yeah. And I want to say this because I don't want to get lost in the shuffle. We mentioned it last week. I want to say congratulations to Hobart of qualifying. I know they had to run into Blackwell as the 8 seed. You just want, if you're the 8, 4, or 5, you were doomed. But man, congratulations to them. We talk about all these state championship coaches and get to have all these great coaches on the show, but there's some that we just don't have enough time to get to. But I do want to say congratulations to Hobart once again.
Yeah, and like if you've never been, this is a huge deal. Yeah. If it's if it's your first time, I think Lincoln Christian was in the same boat too. Yep. It's like if you've never been, well, that's a huge deal for your school. That's a big step. The next step, like let's make the finals again. If you've never been, like you're never going to get to win one if you never get there. So there are steps to take to get there, and all the great schools have been in those spots. And you just got to keep building it. From never going to going. That means you're doing things right. You're moving in the right direction. You got to keep the train rolling. Unfortunately, the Blackwells are out front, but they've been on the bottom too. So everyone can. That's what's beautiful about this sport. Everyone can climb. Everyone can get better. Everyone can improve. And when you do that, you start to get more support from the community, and then you get like it snowballs. When you start doing the right things the right way, it can snowball. And then people say your name, they mention your name here and there, and pretty soon people are talking about you.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you are the conversation, and that's how that happens.
And, we mentioned Lincoln Christian qualifying for the dual state tournament for the first time ever. Congratulations to them. Again, A.B. Stokes, head coach. You want to listen to that podcast. We'll get that up tomorrow. We interviewed him after his first round over at UMAC.
I was ready to go through a brick wall. Yeah, I told Chris, I was like, put me in a singlet. I'll pull down to heavyweight. Let's go. I'm ready to go. Yeah. He was very inspirational. I like that guy.
Absolutely. And us, we're talking about, the Blackwells, the Tuttles, and, Ebnor, Stillwaters. But there's also some consistency, although they haven't won state champion. Your Duncans, your Claremores, your Guthries, McAllister was back at the state tournament as well. So those teams are steady Freddies getting there. Obviously they run to buzzsaws.
Yeah. Guthrie's been in that same boat too.
Absolutely.
We talked to Duncan head coach as well. Interviewed him. Ashton, another great interview, but another guy that he's been in Duncan now just a handful of years, but boy, they're there every year. He's always got a good team together. That's a community that rallies around. I mean, that's a team that's going to continue to grow, continue to get better. It's fun to watch. Like I say, obviously the best teams kind of get all the recognition, but there are a lot of teams in Oklahoma that are starting to build really good programs. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up with a good program.
Right.
Sometimes these days you can, but for the most part, these teams that are outside of recruits and outside of that, they've got to build and they've got to develop and they've got to get a program that young kids want to be a part of, and that's what a lot of these programs are doing that we're seeing. And if you make it to the state tournament consistently over time, you're going to find your way into the finals.
Sure.
It's that process. You got to climb that ladder, and there's a lot of schools that same names we keep seeing, and it's fun to watch.
And when you look at 5A, I mean, you look at McAllister, Claremore, Elgin, Chickasha, Guthrie, Duncan. In today's world of transfer or move in, you're not seeing a lot of transfer move in. Now, there might be some in there, but they're not the wholesale changes in those communities.
Right.
And there's not people knocking down the wall to move into Guthrie. But for these coaches at these locations that I just mentioned, that's a credit to them. And
Absolutely.
Not saying that's the only reason why other schools are winning, but that's in today's world, that's a compliment.
Absolutely, big time compliment. And they are, I mean, they're developing these programs, and not to say that they're not, but I will say that if 3 kids wanted to come from Edmond and move to one of these schools closer to, every one of those coaches that you just mentioned would happily take them, with the way that is going. But again, good kids want to go to good programs.
Sure.
So part of that is doing what they're doing. Keep showing up in the state tournament.
Yeah.
Keep doing the things. Keep producing state champions. Keep maybe 1 or 2 turns into 3 or 4, turns into 5 or 6. And now pretty much instead of just having your name mentioned, you become part of the conversation. And now, like say in the new climate, now kids want to go to your program, and that's a real thing too.
And on the opposite side of these places that attract more student athletes than other locations, in wrestling particularly, there's only 14 spots. So it's in football, with special teams, you can have 33 spots.
Yeah.
Baseball, you can have 9 positions, but a bunch of pitchers. Basketball, there's only 5. That might be a little bit more difficult as well too. So, but wrestling, there's only 14 spots, and there's only 1 weight class. And so, I mean, you can obviously bump up and bump down there, but if you're in that transfer mindset of moving or whatever, you better know what you're moving into, because you still got to mow the grass on the other side.
Yeah. Well, and like I say, a lot of the schools we mentioned, I mean, they're programs with good coaches. You can't hardly go wrong, but at the same time, it's a process. Everyone's got to go through it.
Taking a look at the Class 5A bracket, congratulations to Coach Gabe Ellis. If I remember correctly from our interview, it's his first state championship.
Yeah, and by a landslide.
Yeah.
As humble as he is, I talked to him after their first round match, which they didn't lose a match in the whole duel.
78-0.
Yeah, it was. They did well, but as humble as he was like, "Yeah, we got to keep it going. Got to keep it together."
They missed out on some bonus points.
Yeah, exactly. But just talking with him, he's like, "Oh, I got to keep the guys motivated. We're going to do this." He was still in that mentality of just go. Like he was not. In his mind, a lot could happen. We got to stay on task. We got to stay. And all the way up to the end of that finals, he's standing there behind that chair. He hadn't done the tally yet. He didn't have his hands raised. He was nervous all the way down to the wire, and it was fun. It was fun to watch that. He's a good coach who's going to have a lot of victories in the future, but he's not comfortable there yet. Right. So it was fun to watch that kind of first time,
And it's a great interview too on our podcast, on our YouTube page. And he said we had some move-ins with our program, but they had been with him in their little league and had worked out all the time. But as I said at the beginning, I don't know, even without those 3 or 4, I think it was still Coetus to win anyway.
Yeah, I mean there's no holes in that lineup. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And as many kids as they have in that program, I'm confident somebody good is waiting in the wings. Like he was telling us, they've got 2 varsity teams that go out and travel. So even their backups, they got 14 kids that are going
and
around,
have won tournaments.
And are winning varsity tournaments and competing. Yeah. So, I mean, it's terrifying if you're a 5A school to know what they've got, because boy, they've got a lot more. They've got a lot more in their future.
Yeah, mentioned 78-0 over McAllister. They lost 6 bonus points. You can cap out at 84. So they got 78.
They're going to have to get back to work.
Yeah, get back in the room for regionals this week. But they faced off with Claremore in the second round. Claremore goes past Elgin,
which I think that got every one of us. We all had Elgin picked.
We did, yeah.
A big time upset win for Claremore kind of early on. The 3-time state champ got
at 2:15.
Yeah, why can't I think
Ritzenmeyer.
Ritzenmeyer, yeah. Ritzen got pinned, and I think
under a minute.
Yeah, I think that played a huge factor in the swing of the points, but also the momentum of that. You know, the team leader, team captain, that guy. Like that's a huge deal, and that's what's beautiful about sport. You know, I've said it before on here, but you don't have to be better to win. You just got to be good enough.
Good enough.
You know, and when one kid sees that, or when it happens, you know, when your best friend, when your buddy takes one of those guys out, and now you're staring at the next Goliath.
Yep.
You're like, you know what, I can do that too. And so now you get this momentum. You get this. It's like anything. It's like momentum. You know, we score a touchdown. Now we're going to make a comeback. You know, you hit a home run, and now the team's fired up in the dugout. It's the same thing in wrestling. When one kid does something they're not supposed to do, now everyone thinks they can do something. And, you know, I think that really changed the momentum of that duel. Obviously, it changed the points, but the momentum, everything kind of went in Claremore's favor there, and they pulled off what I think is a big upset. I definitely thought that Elgin had the upper hand there.
Yeah, Claremore wins at 36-32.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Claremore, they ran into Coweta, lost that one 60-10. That was probably going to happen to, even if Elgin gets there, that was going to be a situation there. Chickasha, the defending state champions, get past Guthrie in the first round, 47-22. But then run into Carl Albert and lose that. That's in the state semifinals,
which was a fairly competitive match.
It was.
It was there, you know, almost up till the end. It was a back and forth. Chickasha was ahead there for a while, and a very good head-to-head duel.
It was
the last. I think the last couple of matches, Carl Albert kind of sealed it up after that, but definitely a fun match to watch. There were a lot of really good high level matches in that duel alone. One of the better duels of the night.
Yeah, 39-32 or 39-29 was the score. Carl Albert Chickasha.
Yeah,
and we saw a little bit of that at the Malcolm Wade. We saw mixed up there, and so I want to go circle back real quick to Guthrie. For Guthrie, Sir William Morgan, a huge victory over the Chickasha kid.
Number 10 beating number 1 or 2.
1 or 2. I know. He's 1 or 2. Joe Thomas up there with Carl Albert as well. But Sir William Morgan, congratulations to him. And Colton Stevens, a young man from Guthrie we were talking about last week, with another huge victory, bumped up
to 57. Yeah.
Yeah.
And got taken down early, makes a comeback. That's a name that we're going to say, you know, we're from Guthrie, but that's a name that's going to be said a lot. That kid really this year as a junior has come on, matured a ton, and he's going to, you know, he's got a bright future, but he's gotten better every time we watch him wrestle. I think this postseason is going to be, it's his coming out party. We've seen it early, but he's definitely had a great season.
Yeah, Lindsay, huge upset. Crowd went wild. Yeah,
yeah, they did.
I think he might have been in the stands at this time. But I put the eyeball emoji.
Yeah, we were up top and you were down there. Yeah, it was, and I mean, it happened. It was, you know, Sir Will is a kid that is definitely, he's a late wrestler. Yeah, I think he started in 7th or 8th grade. Coach Pierce got him out. You know, big, strong, athletic kid, heavyweight, played football. Like, yeah, you should try wrestling. Has kind of stuck it out. Didn't have a lot of success early. Last year, kind of started to figure it out. And this year, I'll never forget, I was on the sidelines for football, and I watched this tall, lean, young, athletic man run out onto the field, and I said, "Who's that?" And they said, "That's Sir Will." I'm like, well, he's 50 pounds bigger and 10 times more athletic. And just in that movement, I'm thinking, wrestling season is going to be a lot of fun. It's like he got bigger, but he leaned out, he thinned out. He's a great looking heavyweight. And really, he's a handful for anyone, as we saw.
Well, when you said he just came out in 7th grade, Coach Williams talked about one of his wrestlers coming out in 7th grade.
And he came out in 7th grade too.
Well, Guthrie's quarterback didn't play Little League football. He started at junior high. And I think and I don't mean this anything with Little League coaches. I mean, you coach Little League and 3-time All-American, but sometimes you get to that, you don't learn the bad habits. You don't have to overcome bad habits. You start at that age, you're a little bit more mature. So if you're taught the right way, there's no bad habits to overcome.
Yeah. I mean, that all goes back to and I say this as nicely as I can, and this is to any of the parents out there with Little League kids. I mean, I could do a lecture for an hour on that, but younger kids are learning how to read. They're trying to take letters and put them together to make words, and then when they get kind of 3rd and 4th grade, they can read sentences. They sure can't read big books. It takes a while for their brain to develop and process a bunch of information at one time. So wrestling should be simple. It should be simple movements, simple things, teach them success there. But by the time they get to junior high, now they can retain a lot of information. You can throw a lot of information at them and they can process it. Younger kids can't process information like older kids can. And a lot of our little leagues bombard their kids with so much information. They write them with so much pressure. I see it all the time. It drives me nuts. And it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the kids. So junior high kids, if taught correctly, taught simple things, they can process information so much faster. Now, on the flip side of that, if a kid is brought up correctly, then he's going to, in 7th grade, he's already going to be where the 7th grader starting. Doesn't mean the 7th grader can't catch him, though. It really doesn't. I've seen some really good athletes start late. But, again, it's development is such a huge thing, and parents push so hard so young that you can almost make kids worse, like you're saying. You can develop fears in them, confidence issues, and really teach them a bunch of bad habits that by the time they get to junior high and those bad habits don't work anymore, now they have to restart over. And when they restart over, they start losing. They don't like it and they quit. Yeah. It's hard. It's bad for the sport.
I got another question. Coming up here in a few moments, we will have Stillwater head wrestling coach Ethan Kyle join us. His Pioneers win a state championship. And as we wait for him to log on, I got another question for you. That water next to the computer makes me really nervous, for one. What about burnout? I talk about this. This seems like there's more and more Little League football games being played. Some Little League football teams play more than our high school football teams. What about youth wrestling? You can also have your in season. You have your summer. Is there too much of it right now? As far as I see it in football. I mean, they play so many games every single year: 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and those numbers by the time they become seniors, not every class, but those numbers dwindle. Is that a concern in the wrestling world?
To me, absolutely. And I don't like the term burnout. I get what you're saying. I call it, it's not fun anymore.
Not fun anymore. Okay.
It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, okay.
When kids are winning, it's fun. And when they stop winning, it's not fun anymore. And so what happens in the sport of wrestling, the kids that win young, they're aggressive and they're strong. God gave them that. Yep. You know what I mean? It's not a skill thing. Most little kids aren't very skilled. And some get skilled as they go, but the kids that are the most aggressive and the strongest, they win. And then as they develop, what happens though is those kids that are strong and aggressive, if they're not, when the other kids get as strong and aggressive, what happens is those kids that weren't the best to start, but they kind of had to slowly get better. They had to struggle to make things work. The adversity they can handle. And those kids that just won all the time can't handle adversity. Yeah. And now they don't have the skills because their strength and their aggression doesn't work anymore. And so are they burnt out or they're not having fun anymore? Well, they're not having fun anymore because they don't have the skills. And so many times coaches and so many times dads and moms, they're pushing these kids to become world champions at 8 years old. And the world championships are 20 years away. And so, but they burn them out in the next 5 years. And now again, they don't want to wrestle for junior high. They don't want to go out there and get beat in front of their girlfriend. They don't want to go, they're intimidated by this because
you're
embarrassed. Absolutely. And it's because it's different. Again, I could talk about this all day, but when wrestling is no longer fun, kids get burned out. And if they show up into a room where the coach is yelling at them all the time, grinding them into powder, making them run sprints. By the way, there's no running in wrestling. Why are we running sprints? It's stupid. Sorry, but that's my tidbit. But when we're doing things like that and just when coaches are mad at kids who went out there and wrestled the hardest they could and they did the best they could, they tried as hard as they could, their mom and dad yell at them, and then they get off the mat and their coaches yell at them, then they get to practice and they're in trouble because they're getting yelled at. And it's like they're doing the best they can. It's not fun.
Yeah.
So the minute something's hurt, boy, they're injured. The minute that, that there's always these...
Or the coach doesn't know what he's doing, talking about. Not teaching my kid the right thing.
Yeah, all of those things. And so what happens is the sport becomes their parents' disappointment. Their sport becomes their shortfall. Yeah. And so they don't want to do it because that's what disappoints. And it's like, this is supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And if you keep that at the forefront, then you teach them skills to where they can have more fun.
Right.
But if they want to go to practice every day because they love their coach, because their coach loves them, if they want to go out and compete hard because mom and dad are proud of me because they love me anyway, even if I win or lose, and they're proud that I tried hard and I got a closer score this time. If this is a reward for them, and it's fun, then it's more fun. If it's a disappointment and everyone's mad at me all the time, I don't want to do it. And so that's where the burnout comes from. When it's not fun anymore, they don't want to be there. And this sport of all the sports, coaches are all the time, hardest sport in the world. This will make a man of you. And that's the one thing that makes it so hard, is that these kids there's so much pressure put on them, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, whether and it's supposed to be a game.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep it fun, the kid ain't going to burn out. And he could be I've seen absolutely terrible wrestlers, absolutely terrible. They're never going to be good. Have the best time, but then they get run off the team. Well, keep that kid with a good attitude on the team, and he'll lighten things up on the bus when because it's supposed to be fun. Right. We're supposed to be with our buddies. The parents, if they're having fun with the other parents, we all want to go. We all want to do things together. That's what avoids burnout. Good teams, good coaches, good programs. Like Coach Bobby said, it's fun. We got to keep it fun. We keep it light in the room, keep it fun, make sure everybody wants to be here. And then everybody sticks around and works hard on their own.
Well, and there's always exceptions. You always see a little 3-year-old hitting the baseball 200 yards that way, and he's in the major leagues. There are those stories, but that's rare. I mean, that's rare. So
yeah, I mean, but it's out of every 1 million kids born in America, there's one.
Yeah.
And it's probably not yours. So make it fun. And if it is yours, everyone's going to know anyway. So you don't got to push him. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen on its own.
All right. Here on the High School Huddle, we are waiting. Coach
said he's in the waiting room.
He's in the waiting room.
That's what he said.
In the waiting room.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't know what that means either. So I guess that means I better to bring him out of the waiting room. So, okay, we will take a timeout. I will learn what the waiting room is, but I will try to bring Coach out of the waiting room, whatever that means. So, all right, we'll take a timeout. This is the High School Huddle.
What do you think you're doing?
You said we need new windows, and you're not calling the Red River.
Okay.
If you're gonna throw money out the window by not calling Red River...
Okay, I get it. I'll call Red River. Where did he get all this money?
Are you ready to secure your legacy? At Black Oak Alliance, we understand that your hard work has built a future for yourself and your family. Our team of expert advisors is here to guide you through estate planning, helping you protect your assets, minimize taxes, and ensure your family's financial security. Black Oak Alliance has the experience and expertise to tailor a plan just for you. Schedule a no-cost consultation today. Visit us online at blackoakalliance.com or 405-724-6328. Black Oak Alliance. Protecting your legacy.
At Mosquito and Pest Authority, our job is to keep you pest-free. Our signature mosquito control service and pest-proof barrier 360 service ensures that you aren't bothered by mosquitoes outside or pests inside. That's right, 2 brands, 2 services, only 1 visit needed. Don't believe us? We guarantee it, or we'll come back at no charge to you. No mosquitoes, no pests, no contracts, guaranteed. Call Ronnie and Sarah Phillips today at 405-916-0471.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. loyal to you.
Welcome back inside the high school huddle. Monday night, February 16, 2026. Dual state championships are behind us. Big week of regionals. And then 2 weeks, or not this week, but next week, we're talking state championships inside the brand new OG&E Coliseum. Cannot wait. I know there's been some events in there already, but I think this is the first event that will open up the facility.
Yeah, everyone's concerned with the size. Everyone I've talked to, they've had some Little League wrestling events there and say, well, you better get there early and do all that. And I'm sure those first rounds are going to be, packed or whatever.
Sure.
But I'm more interested in the finals.
Yeah.
Because if they can pack that place during the finals, that's just going to be fun.
I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a really, really fun atmosphere. And we know we will see the Stillwater Pioneers there in a couple of weeks as they go back-to-back state champions. With that, we bring in the head coach, Ethan Kyle. Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on a state championship.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Coach, how boring was it? You only win by 14 in the finals. It doesn't come down to a pin. I don't know if people want their money back or not, but how boring is that to win by 14?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys have done your research. That semifinal was that one was way too close for comfort. But after last year with everything that the way that came together at the end, winning by a point. Obviously, anything less than 3 pins to win by 1 is going to be pretty anticlimactic. But I was teasing with our administration was there watching Saturday night, and I'm like, I coached for a lot of years in college, and when I got here, I didn't have hardly any gray hairs, and now I got a gray beard, and I've only been here for 5 years. So I guess it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm obviously aging, but it's stressful. That dual state is stressful.
Well, I know this is going to be a dumb question, but talk about your time in Stillwater. Been there for a few years, obviously back-to-back dual state championship, won a state championship last year. So it's all doing pretty good, but how's Stillwater America been to you?
It's great. Stillwater America is a amazing place. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, the last couple of years have been buzzing with Oklahoma State wrestling and the change there. But I came here in 2002 and was here for 7 years before I went out to Wyoming. And when the opportunity arose, a little over, I guess it's close to six-ish years ago now. It made sense, and at the root of it was the magic that is Stillwater. I loved it. Obviously, I chose it to come to school, and there's such great social fabric, and it's an awesome place to live. So we couldn't be happier.
Wyoming and Oklahoma very similar to each other?
Yes and no. Like the lifestyle of town, right? It's they're both, everything pretty much rises and falls with the university in Laramie and Stillwater. So the feel is the same. Now, obviously the climate is a little different. The geography is quite different, but real similar people. They're both cowboys. They both have the Pistol Pete. Strangely enough, like I took a lot of flack, especially my wife is a UW alum. So I'm like, you guys stole the real Pistol Pete. She's like, no, you didn't. Wyoming's been around forever. I'm like, no, like literally Pistol Pete is from Payne County, America. Like Frank Eaton's the real guy. Like the picture's drawn after the dude that lived down the road from OSU. So no, it's been similar, and it was a smooth transition. So I knew what I was getting into. And my wife has, she's enjoyed it a lot. It's a nice feel for her too.
I got one more question. So when it snows here, do people in Wyoming laugh at people in Oklahoma because they don't know how to drive? And it's like, I can imagine in Wyoming there's a whole lot more, but do you kind of like, come on, folks, this is nothing?
It's wild. So 2 things on the climate that always help people understand the difference. Like in Laramie, kids go outside for recess unless it's below 10 degrees. And I was there for 11 seasons, and I think there was like 3 snow days. So I mean, it's just a matter of prepared versus unprepared, and like our oldest was only 2 when we left there, but when we took him to daycare that last season, um, you take all their winter clothes. So he has the whole jumpsuit. He's got snow boots and gloves. They go outside for recess. You just operate under the conditions. People know how to drive. They have the vehicles that are suited for it. So life just carries on. And then the second thing is people are like, how hard is the winter there? And I'm like, well, somebody said this to me as soon as I got there, and I didn't understand it because, I moved there in June or something, and they said Wyoming has 2 seasons, winter and the 4th of July. And so, yeah, I mean, we missed a trip in May because we got snowed in, and it wasn't unusual for it to be snowing in September as well. So it was tough, but it was good. I really appreciated my time there.
I remember being in San Diego and my watch went off for a heat advisory. It was 88 degrees that day. So it plays both ways.
Exactly. It's all relative.
Now, Coach, are you a Missouri boy by?
That's right.
Yeah, you went to school in Missouri. Talk about wrestling in Missouri versus then going to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and then out to Wyoming. I know Missouri wrestling, they've obviously had a lot of good wrestlers, but I'm saying back in the day, I'm not trying to date you, but you're still younger than me. Wrestling's grown everywhere, but what was that change like from going from like a Missouri high school type feel into the heart of wrestling? I mean, you were there really during the peak of OSU wrestling when you were on their teams. Talk about that big change.
Yeah, that's right, Shawn. It was. I mean, Missouri we've always been, a tough wrestling state. But like Tiger style wasn't a thing. Brian Smith, literally like, I don't know what year he got there. He hadn't been there for more than 2 or 3 years when he started recruiting me. I went on a recruiting visit with Ben Askren. Okay. So the wrestling people, that'll help kind of date, me and where everything was going. So, Ben Askren kind of put Missouri wrestling on the map from a college standpoint. But I born and raised in the St. Louis area. I went to school at Francis Howell in St. Charles, Missouri, which is a traditional powerhouse. Sammy Henson, world champion, Olympic silver medalist, was an alumni from Francis Howell. So that was part of, what drove me into wrestling and to understand that there are levels to it and to pursue it at that high level. But, standard upbringing. I was the youngest of 3. My older brother started wrestling when he was probably in 4th or 5th grade. And my dad introduced us to it. He wrestled a little bit in high school. But yeah, I mean, I was exposed to, we got the itch. I was 8 or 9 years old when John won his 2nd Olympic gold medal. We had the red, white, and blue channel. We had to re-record it on VHS. So we had to wake up in the middle of the night to press record. And we had the bug. Gable was doing his thing at Iowa. And as long as I could remember, my art projects were Iowa Hawkeye logos and OSU Cowboy, the old school brand, and the Olympic rings. And, I was just ate up with it from a young age. So, people like Gary Mayab, and Brian Elam, Rocky and Zach Elam's dad, was real pivotal in helping me get around to a lot of events, in summer times. And Gary Mayab and the Dave and Ron Maricatani in the St. Louis area, all these names of people that, made Missouri wrestling, kind of brought up a number of us younger guys and got us around the country. And then, when I had the opportunity and Coach Smith came calling, it was a no-brainer. So it was just, it was what I dreamed of, and it was a great opportunity, and really enjoyed it.
Coach, you're describing my childhood. I remember that poster that came out in the mat magazine because we didn't have internet, so you had to order everything out of a magazine. And John Smith's holding the mat up on his shoulder. And
you got it. Yep.
Just imagine what the world would have been like if we'd had the internet back then. I remember people were bringing me recorded VHS tapes from ESPN to watch the national finals. I mean, I would wear those tapes out because that's all I had till next year. It was
2 hours a year. That's it, 2 hours a year, and you just wear them out. I knew every move from the 90. I think they started that around 96 or so is when we started getting them. that ESPN would cover it. So yeah,
I remember watching Eric Guerrero and Lincoln McElravy, all those guys on the VHS tapes, and you know Eric very well.
I do, yeah, yep. And then it was just a kind of a pinch myself moment. Coach came up and Coach Smith came up and did a visit at the house, and I mean, fanboy, or call me whatever you want, but when he gets out of a rental car in the front of our house and comes in and eats my mom's meatloaf, it's like, it tells me he wants us to be Cowboys, and yeah, it was just a done deal. And then
John Smith knows my name,
and as fate would have it, things went well at Oklahoma State then. So I came right in, and I don't know if it's lucky for me or not. It is, but at the time it was not lucky because I took a lot of beatings from world team member, 3-time NCAA champion and Olympian Eric Guerrero. I guess I knew how to drill as a young kid, and I had, like I said, I had good workout partners. My workout partner from high school was a starter at Mizzou for a couple of years, so we knew how to drill, and so Eric latched onto me, and so it was a blessing and a curse to be his training partner right off the bat. So I got a lot of good training, to say the least.
Now you got to travel with him some, didn't you?
I did. He took me to the Olympic Games in 2004.
Yeah, that's what I thought that was
I got to go. The Cowboys, we had 3 Olympians that year. Eric and Jamil Kelly and Daniel Cormier were all Olympians. So I got to Esposito and myself. We got to go as training partners, and Mo Lawal went with DC. And just an amazing experience. I'm a college sophomore, and I get to spend 3 weeks in Athens, Greece, watching the Olympic Games with, all of my heroes, Satiev and Stephen Abbas and Joe Williams and Kerry McCoy. It was unbelievable. It was just an unbelievable experience. So it was wild.
So you got to spend a little time around Mo Lawal. I wrestled with him for a couple of years at UCO.
That's right.
He is not the way he seems, is he? He's a goofball.
He almost got us, I don't know if kidnapped. I'm probably being a little dramatic, but we got a little bit lost trying to walk around one evening, and I'm trying to be the sensible one and find directions, and this guy that doesn't speak English in some Greek little quick shop. And I'm talking to this guy, and Mo walks up and he hits me somewhere that he should not have hit me while I'm trying to converse with a stranger. And
in a different language.
The guy got all mad at us. It was like, out, American. And so, I have a lot of stories about Mo, and that's about as clean as one that I'm going to commit to. But super good dude. I spent a lot of time with him. I love Mo. He's a lot of fun.
Stillwater Pioneers head coach Ethan Kyle with his coach, back-to-back dual state championships. You guys have won 4 of the last 5. What makes 2026 different from the others?
I think just the unknowns this year. I try and do a little bit of money ball, if you will, with the predictions, best case, worst case, most likely. And then how can we manage that as coaches? Obviously we have 5 6A schools in the national top 50 rankings. And the way matchups go, as you saw, I don't remember exactly the scores off the top of my head, but BA barely beat Mustang, and then we barely beat BA, and then Bixby beats Edmond North, which obviously there's, there were lineup issues and injuries and whatnot, but being prepared for 4 opponents. Honestly, it was a coin flip for our semifinal matchup, and it was a coin flip, in my opinion, for the final matchup. So that was a lot of variables, and those people that know me well, I don't have a lot of bandwidth upstairs to work with. So I had good notes, and I have great help, obviously, with our assistant coaches, but it was tough just to be prepared, to feel like we know the moves and ahead of time. But so I didn't. There was so many scenarios where even where we weighed guys in for availability was a chore, and it was like, well, at the end of the day, you got to play the percentages, and it worked out. But it was a lot of unknowns. I don't remember anything like that in my experience yet.
more stressful this season than last? Last year was kind of just you and Edmond North. This year with everything else.
Yes, and probably for different reasons. Just because, like I said, like, there's been years that it was a few years. So last year we won. The year before that, Edmond North had the all-time team.
Yeah.
And the year before that, I believe it was the throwdown where they beat us at Hall of Fame duels in a dual meet. We tried to do some jiggering with our lineup. So there's always, you got to pick your sacrifice. You're never going to not have one unless you have, the 2024 Edmond North team that wins by 100.
Yeah.
That's such an outlier. But, knowing that last year was different stress, the stress that I appreciate a little bit more, where it's basically like, if we wrestle our best, we'll win. So my job as a coach is just to prepare the wrestlers to wrestle, as opposed to the strategic aspect of it. It's just so much more stressful because in a lot of ways we take the wrestling out of their hands in some instances. And you're like, is that much power a good thing? Because, I would rather not have the hands on that big of the controls, if that makes any sense to you guys.
Yeah, well, Dan Gable said this, but when he wrestled, he said it was simple. It was me. It was the other guy. I knew what I was capable of, win or lose, whatever. But you go out there and you've got these 14 kids that, one kid didn't eat what he was supposed to eat. Now he's got an upset stomach. The other kid's girlfriend just texted him, and they're broke up because he didn't call her back. And now you got these things that you can't control, and you got these guys out on the match you can't control. And it's like, oh, that match wasn't supposed to go that way. And
yeah, for sure.
And Coach, looking at your schedule, and you tested your guys throughout the entire year for this postseason run.
Yeah, that's been a theme of my tenure. Obviously, we came in during the COVID year, so we were pretty restricted on what we would do. I inherited a schedule. I tried to make the most of that. It's gotten me in trouble a little bit with some of our neighbors around town in this area, but. It's no secret that the makeup of our team the last handful of years that, people end up on our team and they're very high level. So we have the support from the community and our boosters to make some trips happen. And then those Hall of Fame duels just, sprung out of nowhere and went right to the top of, being the most competitive duel event we could put together. So it has been a theme, and thankfully we have enough success that we haven't been broken by it. We've been close because you go to the Ironman tournament and you come home with 3 medals we've taken 10 or 11 guys at one time, and it's hard to spin sometimes to turn that into a positive, but we do. I mean, the kids know how competitive it is. So putting them in things like the Ironman and the Hall of Fame duels when it was the thing. The Kansas City Stampede was a throwdown this year. We went back in the absence of the Hall of Fame duels. And then we got a chance to take some guys out to the Doc Buchanan tournament in California. Really a premier event, obviously. The people that wrestle there and win, you see on ESPN, like we were talking about earlier, Shawn, so those kids are going to wrestle at the next level in the finals or in the medal rounds of those events. And then obviously, Oklahoma 6A wrestling, Oklahoma wrestling is strong right now. Without a doubt, there's a lot of really solid programs that are coached well, and these kids and the families are they're putting the time in and the effort to get themselves to the highest level. So, there's not much drop off now. Obviously, this year with the Snowmageddon that hit, kind of watered UConn down a little bit. But the UConn tournament and the Gary tournament have always been
tough.
I mean, we've had multiple time state champions get beat there. So, it's a blessing for us to be able to expose our kids to that. And as much as anything, get them ready for the postseason in Oklahoma. But, we got a lot of kids that want to wrestle on the next level. And that's the biggest thing, having spent some time there, getting the kids to make the jump. Obviously your top 3 kids that are ranked in the country as seniors, they've hit all these events, but the kids that we recruited at Wyoming, the Montori Bridges, who are from Altus, right? Or two or 3 times state champion from Altus. to make the jump into Division I, and just realize that every week is going to be, it's just hard. So, letting the kids become big fishes in big ponds is kind of what we're trying to do by stacking such a tough schedule.
So, Coach, obviously 11 years, I think, at Wyoming, you were there. Obviously, not just at the level of college coaching, but coming back to high school coaching. One of the questions I was going to ask you is was that transition hard? But to be honest with you, a 6A school in Oklahoma, Stillwater, top of the country, you're traveling everywhere, you're getting all these schedules, you're managing a bunch of kids. I mean, you're basically running a college team there in a lot of ways, maybe at a less, but you've got a lot of high-level kids. That experience you had in Wyoming had to play a major role in how successful you've been able to just manage all the things you just talked about.
Yes. I mean, I don't know that I've done it very well. We've had a ton of success, but, we have a lot of people moving in that direction. But I think without a doubt, I've seen some of our guys say things like that. Like it feels like, he's running us in that college mindset. And that's it. I mean, there's small differences, but without a doubt, it helps to not get overwhelmed, and some of those situations that are kind of overwhelming. So the experience goes a long way. And yes, and there's a lot of people that in leadership, they want to prepare kids for more than just winning now or where we're at, but really prepare them. So if there's anything that it does make me a little unique is that experience. And Mark Branch, what he's done for my career in wrestling, I'm forever grateful. He'll always be one of my closest friends, and I'll always have the utmost respect for what he did, giving me the chance to come out and get to work with him. And then that whole list of OSU guys that I spoke about earlier with Coach John, and obviously Eric and Pat Smith was a huge impact in my life. So I didn't have the wrestling career that I would have hoped for necessarily, but the people I've been around, it's just unbelievable. I'm not bragging on myself. I'm bragging on the people that I've had the pleasure of being right next to. So it's just, I'm a guy I called it, there's always a bubble guy at the NCAA tournament that he places and you're like, how the heck did he get there? Like, and you look at his bracket, he kind of floated through the bracket in a little bubble, like things were happening around him. And I think a lot of ways, that's kind of my coaching career of, I've been blessed. I came back here. I didn't know who Carter Young and Cale Hughes were. I take that back. I knew Carter Young because he teched a kid that I had just signed at Wyoming. And I'm like, golly, Sweal got teched by a sophomore. And then I look at Carter Young, I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty dang good. He's been training with Dayton and this whole 9 yards. So, I just, it's, I've just been blessed to be in the right place at the right time in a lot of ways, for sure.
Stillwater Pioneers, fresh off a dual state championship just the other day, getting ready for the big regional up at Broken Arrow. Four of the four teams in that regional qualifying for the dual state tournament. There's a lot of guys on your roster, Coach, that we definitely want to talk about. But the one that I'm intrigued here is Jaden Adams at 157. Football, Stillwater Pioneers have had deep runs, and so he's kind of late to the room, but he just seems to catch on pretty quick once he gets there.
Yeah, Jay is he's a guy that he's one of those 100-match kids throughout his junior high experience and kids club. He's D. Lockett's little brother. Jasper Lockett is his dad. So he's a wrestler. He's been a wrestler his whole life. He's a freak athlete. Obviously, was behind a good tailback last year as a freshman, got reps. And then as the starting tailback at a 6A 2 powerhouse school. So, and actually getting to the Doc Buchanan has kind of been on our bucket list, but I never wanted to leave the Gary tournament. The base has run an outstanding tournament down there, and they're fantastic support for the Pokes RTC. So I hate that it seems like we're kind of turning our back on an Oklahoma staple in the Gary tournament, but um, when you have a guy like Jay Adams that, I like the kids to play multiple sports and learn what it means to compete and have a little bit of balance, if you will. So for him to miss out on the Ironman each year, and not be ready for Hall of Fame duels, we threw him out there against the number one kid in the country last year, and he got smushed because he'd been in practice for like 6 days at the Hall of Fame duel. So it's tough. But Jay is, he's about as mean a person as you'd ever want to know, but in a good way. Because walking around, he doesn't say hardly anything. He handles it well. But when it comes to it, I'm glad if we were ever had to get into a real throwdown that he would be on my team, because he's just one of those guys that's going to survive the apocalypse. He's just as tough as he can possibly be, and he has the pedigree. Like I said, he's wrestled on the East Coast dozens of times, and he's won the Reno Kids World Championship tournament, the roller deal out there. So he's been around, and his results show. He's only got a couple losses in high school, and I don't know all of his stats as a football player. I think they're pretty dang good, but it's no surprise he's that guy.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. So, Coach, so Stillwater, your guys' kids club is one of the best in the country, definitely one of the best in the state, obviously. You've got, your junior high is always dominant. Obviously, your high school is dominant. You've got the farm out there now. OSU's there. So there's got to be interaction between, some of talk about just – obviously, you've done a phenomenal job, but man, you've got a lot of coaches, you've got a lot of access. That community is wrestling. How important has that been to just the continued success for this team? Because it seems like every year you're producing higher level athletes than the year before. Kids that are walking straight off the high school mat right into college now with D. Lockett, and not just competitive, but dominant, like from high school to that. Is that a community thing? Is it just a flash in the pan? It seems like Stillwater's only getting better, and they've been good for so long.
Yes. There's a lot there. Forgive me here.
Sorry.
My little pea brain. That a lot of that has to do with why we made the move as a family in the first place. People like, which the wrestling people, they're like, some of the guys that are like, you're sly like a fox. Because people are like, what are you doing leaving college to go to high school? But my peers in the game were like, oh, you dirty rat. You're going to have all these super good kids, and they're going to have access, and and you're not going to recruit 24 weekends a year.
So you're going to get to see your wife and kids.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So, we knew that all those things were in place. That makes it, it makes it very unique. And I was always going to feel like I'm going to have access to those high level kids to really kind of wet my competitive whistle. Since 2002, I had been in Division I wrestling for something like 18 years or whatever it was. It was 2020. So it was 18 seasons I had gone. My life revolved around the Division I schedule. So making the jump for my family, the lifestyle that my wife and I wanted to create for our family was at the root of this move. But knowing that, like I said, I was always going to have access to really high level wrestling, and it's obviously been an incredible blessing. I didn't know Jasper Lockett at the time, but when you talk about Cowboy Kids Club, John Smith and some of the folks back in the early 2000s. Daniel Cormier and Jamil Kelly, I think were the first head coaches of the Cowboy Kids Club that as it exists today. It used to be YMCA, and then they, kind of moved it away, and John got involved because his son was 7 or 8 at the time, JoJo. So, long story short, for the last probably 15 years, somebody can fact check that on how long Jasper Lockett's been involved, but the Cowboy Kids Club is where it is today with the vision and the hustle of Jasper Lockett, and then a number of people that have gone that have turned it in their life. Dustin Phipps, his son Revan is wrestling at Cushing this year now. If I started naming off names, I'd embarrass somebody for leaving them off. But without a doubt, the amount of work that Jasper and Nishana and all their crew have given to the kids club is just incredible. So knowing that that's been there and that's the root of it. I didn't make D Lockett. I didn't make Cale Hughes. I didn't make Carter Young. I'm happy to play my part and help them along, add to them as much as I can, but provide that consistent environment and structure that they'll transition to and not have any whiplash when they get out into the real world and leave mom and dad and have to do their own laundry and feed themselves and stuff like that. So I just think that it's such everything is moving in that same direction around town. And it's, the results follow.
Ray Blake, Bixby head coach, also talking about those recruiting weekends that spent time away from the family. So I don't think I want to be a college coach in the recruiting part of it. That's two coaches that are pretty high level here in Oklahoma.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine, especially with the young family. Mentioned Jadam at 150. I want to get ahead. I got one more that I definitely got to ask. Your 126 pounder.
Yeah, Nas is crazy. He's on that level. I mean, there are, there's like the sayings go, there are levels to it. And Nas has jumped. He was there, at Pomona in Colorado, U17 world bronze medal. But he's just that guy. And does that mean he's going to keep winning everything? No, but he's on that level and he's cemented himself. He's just so consistent. His training, his work ethic it's second to none. It's really impressive to watch, and his maturity now. He is still a high school junior. He'll say some things that I'm like, yeah, you're 16. Yeah, I believe it. You wrestle like you're 21 or 22, but he's just a good, genuine kid. But obviously there's kids that have put in probably close to the amount of time that don't have the skills and the ability that he does. But I mean, he's built some habits and held himself accountable with the help of his parents. Vic and Nicole are just top notch. The way they support him, but also give him distance. And let him win and fail on his own, and provide that right amount of support. It's really fun to watch, and it makes waking up early to watch some extra video or prepare practice plans when kids are drinking the Kool-Aid like Nas does. So it's a blessing. It's wild that these things keep coming through here, and it's fun to be a part of.
The hardest part of coaching him is saying his full name, because we were on the I was fortunate enough to get to call the 6A finals, and it was a blast. By the way, I had a great time. But one of your trainers was sitting there right beside me, and she was like, "Just call him Nos." I'm like, "Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that," because I was struggling to read that.
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, they're fantastic, incredible family, and we're extremely grateful to have them.
I stole this from someone, but I always say it. I said, sometimes, we look for God's blessings and all kinds of things, but I always find the biggest blessings that God brings us through the people that he puts in our lives. And it just makes things so much better. You get around the right people, and it's just a blessing to have. And it sounds, you've said a lot of all the people in college, all the people in Wyoming and everywhere. It's all these people. And it just, you always say it's a blessing. It's like, well, it's always the people.
Big time. No doubt. And that's where, I try and keep this soundbite in the front of my mind whenever I'm, talking about our results or giving an interview. There's great people all over the place. So we can't take for granted how special it is when everything lines up, and we get rewarded for all that hard work. And then to share it with those folks, it's awesome. It's amazing. I remember some wins and losses, but whenever I get a Christmas card or I get a text, my phone blew up the other night after the duel. It's just like, I don't remember what my heavyweight trainer, I don't remember. I think he made it to the blood round or maybe the round of 16, but he's one of my favorite humans forever. And I don't remember what his win-loss record was. I don't remember why he lost his last match. It was probably because he didn't do what we told him. No, I'm kidding. But I don't, those things don't matter. It's definitely the relationships that will last. And yeah, we're coming through some top-notch people. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be on a couple national championship teams, and some of my best memories of that whole experience were playing spades at 3 a.m. in the morning on a van, driving through a blizzard, and probably out in Wyoming somewhere.
Yeah, maybe so. That's right.
But that's what I remember when I think of those people. I don't even know what, did they win on that trip? I don't even know if I did, but I know that we were in it together on those days, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Coach, it's no time to really celebrate a whole lot. I know practice probably got back, but man, you look at your regional. Of course, Bixby. You know about Bixby. You know all about Broken Arrow. They're there. Deer Creek and much improved team. They made a lot of noise this year. Owasso is a top 10 program. Of course, you guys Union qualifying for. I mean, this is
regional stack.
This is regional stacks ready to go.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, there's no. I mean, I told the guys they get to sleep on their win Saturday night, but after that, there's no more sleeping on it because the prophet Conor McGregor says, you sleep on a win, you wake up with a loss. So without a doubt, like we're right back to work. We got after it today. It was nice to have the day off from school, so the boys got to sleep in a little bit, but we got after it. And now it's nice to switch. The theme heading into dual state is if we wrestle as a bunch of individuals, we probably won't get it done. But if we wrestle as team first, you'll wrestle at any weight that you're eligible for. And if you're mismatched, you're going to work your tail off so that maybe only giving up 5 is a win, but that could be the win that your team needs. So transitioning this week is we can finally get back into our little silos. This guy over here needs to work on clearing his underhook. This guy needs to, just kind of back to the X's and O's and personal game plans that makes it a little bit easier for us to, allow guys to do their thing this time of year. So we're excited for that. But yeah, we've got to have our powder dry on Friday and Saturday because there's going to be a lot of tough matchups for sure.
Well, Coach, I know your Pioneers be ready to go no matter what that challenge might be. Congratulations on another dual state championship and best of week of practice this week, and hope to see you at the OG&E Well, we'll see you at the OG&E Coliseum. Hope to stop by and say hello to you when you have time.
He'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be. But it's gonna be awesome to open up a brand new facility at the OG&E Coliseum.
I'm excited. I haven't been down. I didn't go to the junior high state or the JOC yet, so it'll be a new one. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. Hopefully, there's not too much commotion about being too crowded. It'll work itself out, but I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me on.
And Coach, don't worry about those neighbors. If they're not upset about that, they're going to be upset about something else. So you just keep doing you because it's working.
They're upset because you keep winning.
It's working in Stillwater. So I would stick with what's working for you, Coach. Congratulations once again.
All right. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach. Stillwater Pioneer head coach. They just keep winning. Ethan Kyle. They just keep winning 4 titles in 5 years and trying to go do it again in a couple of weeks at the Big State Championship. So a lot of experience. And if you're the head coach at Stillwater High School, you won the interview, because I would imagine that is a lot of folks apply for that job.
Yeah, just sitting there hearing him talk about what he's managing there with everything going on. Yeah. It's like, it's going to take a guy that's been at a high level for a long, like you said, he was 18 years or 20 years in college, in that whole entire Division I mindset, that schedule, managing all these different, it's like, it makes sense why he's at Stillwater having success, because that's what he's juggling. It's a big chore just to keep everything going.
And when athletic directors and superintendents are interviewing these type of jobs, not only do they have to be good at X and O's, but I think they have to present themselves to the community, to the media in interviews like this. And hit another home run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not surprising why we see the same things out of these successful guys, but like I say, that Stillwater, that area, and one of the questions I didn't get to ask him, but it's like, from John Smith to David Taylor, is that a lot of pressure to be around those kind of people? But just listening to
these coaches don't know anything about pressure. I keep trying to. I was come to my world with all the pressure. Of course, it's self-inflicted, but I still.
But I look at as he's talking, and it's like, again, like I think he's just at home. Like he knows Coach Smith. That's who he wrestled for. Stillwater's where he's been. Yeah. He spent from like 2003, 2007 there on I think I don't know how many national titles they won, but several in a row. I mean, he was on some of the best teams ever, and then he goes up to Wyoming, same kind of thing. It's just like, it's probably not pressure. It's probably expectation. Yeah. He just, this is how you win. I've been in winning programs. I know what winning looks like. I know how to make winners. I know how, he wants to be around high level guys. Well, yeah, this is what that looks like. And I can see why they have confidence in him.
Yeah. Big thank you to Coach Kyle for joining us here. Shawn, the best team that you saw this week that did not win a state championship. Obviously, Evan Worth will be up there. A couple wrestlers out for that one, but
best team I saw that didn't win, I would say Bigsby.
Yeah. They were close. They were almost there. We thought for a moment we were going to have a Bixby Broken Arrow final. We thought.
When we watched, and I mean Broken Arrow close second, and not to take anything away from Evan North, I know their injuries mattered. They're big time guys. They weren't able to bring the team that they would have liked to, and that's not anyone's fault. But
part of it.
Yeah, but neither did Bigsby.
Correct.
Yeah,
two in Hawaii.
Yeah. And so with that said, that team, just watching them, every single kid they had was good.
Yeah.
And they gave Stillwater all they wanted. Obviously, they went neck and neck with Evan North. And when we started off this season for us over here on this side of the state, unaware that there's other teams in Tulsa that wrestle.
Yeah.
It was, Stillwater, Evan North, which one's going to win? And now I'm looking just after watching those four teams. And again, Mustang is, they're out of the conversation, but yet they're nipping at the heels.
And UConn just right there.
Yeah.
Next step.
Hey, UConn's never, I mean, so it's like, I look at that and I'm like, somehow Bigsby not only makes the finals, but I was impressed with how good they were. I was so impressed with Coach when he came on.
Sure.
So, so I was kind of watching anyway.
Right.
But then after, I was impressed with him and how good they were. But then when I got to see him, I'm like, oh, wow, this is, they've got something going on over there. They're, like I say, I don't know that it's secret sauce or if it's just the same thing these other guys are doing, but I think I'm most impressed with Bigsby.
Yeah, no doubt. Bixby Spartans get the victory over Evan North in the semis and fall to Stillwater in the finals, 39-25. Okay, again, big tournaments, regional tournaments this weekend, Friday and Saturday. 6A East Regional is at Broken Arrow. 6A West Regional is at UConn High School. 5A East Regional will be held at Coweta. 5A West Regional will be held at Noble. 4A East Regional will be at Cushing, Oklahoma. 4A West Regional will be in Tuttle. Boy, these schools I've mentioned so far definitely know how to host regional tournaments. That's for sure. How about this one? East Regional in Class 3A at Blackwell, and the 3A West Regional will be at Watonga. And so we will see who advances to next week's state tournament. We'll talk more about the state tournament next week, but it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event this year. Mixed feelings on that from all my wrestling folks out there. So,
yeah, West did a good job explaining why they have to do it that way. It's mainly just a space issue. They can only get so many matches in a day, and they got too many matches to wrestle, so they got to add it. I don't like it, and I don't think he does. I don't think anybody really likes it, but under the circumstances, there's probably not a better option. If there was, I think they'd explore it. So, there are probably arenas in the state that can handle that. I don't know that, unless someone else is willing to pay for those facilities and donate the money to rent out the Thunder Coliseum they have the budget they have. This is what they can work with. And so it's like, I don't know what else the USSA would do other than this. And this is the best thing they got in front of them. So although, everybody would like it to be a 2-day tournament, it can't be, not under the circumstances. So it has to go this route.
Yep. Anything else we need to get to before I reveal the?
Oh man, no. I will say I'm looking at these just some of the teams that are in these brackets. The East bracket over in Broken Arrow for 6A. Yes. Bigsby, Broken Arrow, Deer Creek. I mean, you mentioned these Stillwater, like
Owasso and Union.
Owasso. I mean, it's like, golly, and then that's a tough one. I mean, Edmond Memorial Mustang are going to be in the same regional over in on the west over at Yukon and Yukon.
Choctaw made the state tournament. Despite losing kids across the school boundary line to Carl Albert. I mean, Choctaw was back in the state tournament. We've talked about Piedmont throughout the year, how much improved much improved. They were there for a while in Class 5A, and now is trying to find their way into 6A. They got some the Mustangs and Yukons that you got to get past, and Deer Creek is right there too. You got to get past them before you get into the real big boys at 6A.
Yeah, and it's like I said, those top 5 teams are tough, and really top 6 teams. Yukon looked good. They were just in a. It's a tough. Some of the best teams in the country are there, and that's what sucks. You can have a great team, but there's just so many.
They ran into that Bixby squad. That's what happened.
Yeah, and wrestled them well. But I mean, you might be looking. There is this, and if you'd asked me this at the beginning of the year, I would have said you're crazy. But there is a scenario where Bigsby can win state this year in 6A. I can see that scenario, and things got to work themselves out. But it is not an Edmond North Stillwater, squash match to the finals. There are a lot of good teams in 6A,
and this weekend proved that they do have. I mean, and if the 2 kids come back, that were gone, that obviously helps them as well. So
more points.
So I think for Bixby, obviously they're disappointed they didn't get that championship, but I think it could work in their mind that, hey, we were that close. Now we're going to go back to work and we can get over that.
If I'm any other school, I don't like the fact that they got close enough to taste it, but they didn't get to eat it. So they're going to fight to get back in that, because again, like if I'm Stillwater, I'm not sleeping. Like Coach said, he said I gave him Saturday night off, but we were back to work on Sunday. And
remember Coach Blake just a couple weeks ago, keep talking about Edmond North and Stillwater. Keep talking about them. Don't mention us. And there they were. So,
we go down into Class 5A. You mentioned over at Coweta. I mean, obviously Coweta is a big time there. That's. I mean, obviously, I think Coweta is going to walk away with that, but Claremore obviously is over there as well. They had a good. Obviously, they made that big upset in their first round against Elgin. So, and then. The 5A West, you've got Chickasha, you've got Duncan, you've got Carl Albert, and you've got there's I think Guthrie's over there.
Yep.
There's a lot of good wrestlers. I know just from those schools, which we cover a lot of 5A, but in that West Regional, there's going to be a lot of good wrestlers that don't make the state tournament because of those teams and the way that they match up against each other, and that's. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's a good thing, but it's a showing of how tough these regionals are. They're only taking 4 kids, and so there's a lot. Well, they're taking 5. They're taking 5 for the wrestlings, but that's there's some weights where there's 10 kids there that are state quality, and half of them ain't going to get to go.
It helped me. Isn't where kids can move up or down or something? It seemed like. Couple years ago
in weight or
whatever
they wrestle at regionals is what they have to wrestle
at state. Okay.
You qualify at regionals for, so if let's say I've been wrestling at 133 all year.
Yeah.
And now you can only go up so much weight. There are rules to how many weight classes you can move. But let's say, I guess 33 is not even a weight. 32. Yeah. So 33 is a college weight. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's say it's 32. I'm wrestling and there's 2 kids, maybe I'm going to struggle to make it in, or maybe I can't win state at that way. Well, I could go up to 38 and maybe I've got a better chance at making the state tournament then,
or winning
or winning or whatever. Maybe if the coaches will look at those brackets and say, hey, we've got a kid that hasn't won a match all year. We've been throwing him out there, trying to help the team out, whatever. And this kid's been bouncing back and forth between weights, but we really think he can qualify at 38. So they'll go to regionals with him. But if he wrestles 38 at regionals, he has to wrestle. He qualifies to that weight at state. And the big thing, even with kids that aren't going to win it, if you can get a kid to state and he can win some matches, win a match, a lot of those races come down to 1 or 2 points. Yeah. So that even that first round, if they can get a kid in there to win a match, it can really change a difference. Or maybe he's a bad matchup for that stud. Maybe they wrestled in the duel and he put him on his back twice. Well, maybe we can throw that big upset and screw up one of these brackets and dethrone one of the big teams. And they're jockeying. I know they're talking about the coaches are going to sleep better going into regionals than they did to dual state. But once they figure out where they want these guys, then it's business. It's like, all right, this is what we got to do.
The 4A East Regional at Cushing will also be interesting. I think Berry Hill, very good. Obviously Bristow is there. Fort Gibson is there. Cushing, obviously hosting it, is there. Perkins Tryon has had some good success this year. Sulphur is a dual state, was there at dual state. So that Cushing regional will be fun as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. Berry Hill let me down in the duel, so I don't know if I can.
Point-wise, oh, yeah.
It's no offense to Berry Hill, but I had them throwing the upset, and they upset me this time. So
I can confirm Perry is at Blackwell this week for the 3A
for all the Perry
regionals.
fans.
So there's going to be a lot of Maroons finish as regional champions. I promise you that's going to happen there. If you finish second,
trophy cases are filling up.
Yeah. If you finish second at the Blackwell regional, you're really good, and you're on the opposite side of the Maroon in the first round of the state tournament.
Yeah.
So that's obviously very good there. So yep. Well, we last week we made our predictions for each class, and in the first round of the brackets, each round was worth 1 point, and then when you got to the second round, the semifinals, those are worth 2 points, and then if you pick your state champion correctly, you got 3 points. I can let you know ahead of time that I was able to secure all 4 state champions this year. So with that, I do have the results that are here. And Shawn, I can tell you on the 3A bracket, you had the most points you can score is 11 points. 4 in the first round, 8 in the second. No, 4
and 3.
4, 4, 3. So the best you can do is 11 points in each class. And you got 10 out of 11 in class 3. That's pretty darn good.
It was the Berry Hill that got me.
Berry Hill got you.
Yep. Who did Berry Hill wrestle?
Perry.
See, I got to be mad at Perry then. They threw him.
I've been trying to tell you all year all about those Perry Maroons. You got to listen closer. You got to listen closer.
I know. I was trying to get a little clever. I like some of the matchups, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go off because I knew you were picking Perry, but it bit me.
So Phil got 9 points. And I got 9 points.
You got 9 points.
So you won the 3A bracket.
Where'd you guys get off? Salina? You guys went Marlowe, didn't you?
We went Marlowe.
Yeah.
We went Marlowe.
Yep.
Sure did. Went Marlowe on that one. That was a fun duel.
Yeah.
That was a fun duel. That
was
right
loud.
In front of us. It was loud.
They were Marlowe was right behind us, and it was loud.
It was loud. Okay. Class 4A state bracket. Shawn Silvis. Again, the most points you get is 11. Shawn got 10 again.
I made 11. Where's my bracket at?
You have yourself down for 11?
I did. I thought that's the only one I got right.
Huh.
I could be wrong though.
You picked Tuttle. You went Cushing over Cash. I know you did that. Fort Gibson.
Who did I pick over Fort Gibson?
Didn't you pick Fort Gibson? I thought you picked Salisal.
No, I picked Fort Gibson.
Well, Fort Gibson got beat.
Oh, in the first round. That's right.
Yeah, Salisal got him. The Black Diamonds.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then we all three of us did pick Tuttle, and all three of us did pick Bristow. And we all picked Tuttle to win the state championship, and they did. So I have you down as 10 points. I had Phil scoring 8 points, and I was at 9.
Who got you guys? Bristow?
We all three picked Fort Gibson, so we lost that one. And I lost Cash. My Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah.
The officiating in that one, I got to tell you, I wish we had a brick because I got about 50 bricks I've thrown on that Cash one. That Cash, my poor Bulldogs on that one. I just don't know what happened. Maybe, so those are my 2 losses there. So, all right. And so in our 5A bracket, Shawn Silvis, 10 points. I mean, you're
consistent.
You're very consistent.
Too bad I wasn't so consistent in 6A.
In fact, in our 5A bracket, all 3 of us, you, Phil, and myself, scored 10 points. So we missed.
We had that one down.
We missed the Claremore Elgin.
Yeah, we all got beat there.
Other than that, it was a perfect 5A bracket.
And hats off to Claremore. It's no hate to them.
Yeah. And you talked about it. You saw them with your own eyes early in the year over at Shawnee.
Yeah.
And you said they were going to be good, and they only got better as the season went on.
Yeah,
so.
It's just like I say, I got to see him early, but we've seen Elgin so much, and
correct.
So it's like, oh, I hate to, but
I would almost pick Elgin again this week. I mean, because I think
such a close duel.
I think when I don't know if this is the case, but if you're Elgin, you see one of your best go down. I don't know if that like or the other way around. Yeah. Claremore go let's go. He did it. Let's go. You know,
I can guarantee you wind was out of the sails.
Yeah.
At least for a short term, but but I mean, hats off to you. Got to do what you got to do to win, and boy, they figured out a way.
Sure did. 6A state bracket. Boy,
hold on. What's the score right now?
Right now, Chris would be 28, Phil would be 27, and you would be 30.
Not enough.
And you don't know the final numbers yet.
I know.
You don't know the final numbers.
I know what I scored in the last one, though. It's not going to be enough. Dang it.
Okay. Well, I don't know what happened to Phil, but his 6A bracket was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. He scored 5 points.
Oh, boy. Well, mine wasn't much better.
Horrendous is 5 and below.
Oh, okay. So mine's really bad.
Yeah, we'll just go bad. Phil had 5 points in the 6A bracket.
Did you get 11?
10.
Oh, man. Who'd you miss on?
I missed out on... I picked Edmond North beat Bixby.
Gotcha.
In the semi.
Yeah.
I picked
As
Edmond
did
North, as did Phil. But what put me over the top by 1 point over you, 38-37, was the Stillwater Pioneers.
Stillwater. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, if they would have beat Bigsby, then I still would have won.
Well, if my mother, no,
no, we'd have tied, right?
If what happened?
If Edmond North had beat Bigsby, I would have at least tied you.
Yeah.
But man,
it was fun.
Stillwater had something to say about that, though, didn't they?
They did. So which is crazy with the point system. All of these comes down to points. You win 3 out of the 4 classes. I guess you won 2 of the 4. We tied on 1.
Yeah, but I lost big. We all kind of picked the.
You got to pick those state champions.
Yeah,
when you fill out your NCAA basketball tournament, you have to get the Final 4.
Yeah,
to have a chance.
And that's where it's like I think we all knew who was going to win those, and I don't know what I was looking at from I looked at the rankings.
Yeah,
and so that's what I was looking at. Okay, and I thought, man, it just seemed like they had but they were down a couple guys, and boy, Bigsby, like they did. Anyway,
no, and I think you said it right when I asked you the question. Best team that didn't win a state championship, I would say Bixby over Edmond North.
Yeah, it was they wrestled, and even against Stillwater at one. I mean, like I say, I'm down there calling that match, and there was a momentum shift about halfway through. Stillwater started to come back, but boy, I'll go back to saying this. I wish they just started at 106.
See, I like the middle. I like the.
To me, I just like the flow of the duel, and because it's hard for me to remember where the shift was. Because halfway through the duel to me is like around 157.
See, in my mind, I had
it. But I got to do the math the other way.
I had it secured. I was locked in on 157, 165, and then I had it. I was mentally ready for it.
But then they went with 65, and then 7. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. I'm just old school, but it was. I don't know. It would have been easier to follow, but it was still that dual Bigsby Stillwater was, man, there were some good matches. There was some talent on that match. I felt, I called the UCO duel the next day. They had Central Missouri was in town, and obviously college wrestling's a little bit different. It's a little bit longer matches, things like that. But boy, there was some talent on the mat in high school match the day before. I can tell you that.
Riding time in Division II, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All college.
I just assumed. I was making sure.
Yeah. The only time college wrestling doesn't have riding time is in the open tournaments.
Okay.
So other than that, like official tournaments and stuff, it's always riding time.
Want to make sure. So, Phil unable to be here. Comments are wrong there. Did I miss anything? Yes, Phil, you finished third place out of 3 people. Congratulations.
Still get a medal though
on your finish.
It's a bronze. It's a bronze, Phil.
Phil, we just went over that, but I'd be glad to go over it again here. Phil Nichols, 32 team points. Shawn Silvis, 37 team points. And Chris Evans in the Blackwell Maroons, 38 points to win.
He's a Blackwell fan now.
I picked the Maroons up. Never a doubt on the Maroons. Never a doubt. So, no, big thank you to all the coaches. We got to visit a little bit with them, try to not hotbox them too long, but corner them too long. But it was good to talk to all the coaches. Got to talk to a lot of officials as well.
And this time of year, getting their time. They've got a lot going on. This is the crux of their season. But coming on here, and even a lot of the interviews we did in house, we're catching them after a loss, and just gracious enough to, like, no, I'll talk to you guys, but like, go talk to your team, whatever. They would always go talk to the team, and then they come back.
Yep.
They were gracious with their time, and we really appreciate that. And even these guys that are coming on, and I mean, you got to shut me up because it's like I'll keep them here for 2 hours.
It's awesome. Well, once we're able to upload those 4 interviews plus the 2 coaches tonight from Tuttle and Stillwater, we'll have 6 coach interviews on our YouTube page. Can't wait to share those. And when we talk to these coaches, we love to talk, strategy and championships. I also like to get to know the coaches, and that's the really cool part of that.
Well, we're talking to Coach about just the relationships. I mean, it's fun to get to meet because if we go to a duel, there's only one other coach we don't know. Maybe we duel them every year, so we get to know them, and that which is great. But there's also these coaches from all over the state that we only get to catch them at an event here or there or whatever. So it's nice to, I don't know, I got to meet some new guys this weekend, and it was fun.
Our conversation with Fort Gibson coach Sammy John was awesome. It's really cool. So.
And like I say, it gives us something else to root for.
Absolutely. Did it cost us a point because we interview Coach Johnson of Fort Gibson, and all 3 of us picked. If we didn't have Coach Johnson on, we picked Saddle.
Well, I think when we got done talking, we were all ready to go join his team.
Absolutely. So Phil says you guys right where I want you.
Hey, speaking of Fort Gibson, don't we have?
Yes. The person who has it's not here tonight.
Oh, that's okay. That makes sense. Well, then we will unbox that next week.
Yes, we will unbox that next week. Phil had 2 jobs and he failed at both of them. A, be available, and 2, bring the swag. No swag. So, but we will definitely
have to readdress his contract. It's
unfortunately, he's got a 2-year deal left. Yeah, so he's got 2 years left on his contract. So maybe we can find for cause to eliminate that. So all right. Well, a big thank you to Coach Bobby Williams of Tuttle for joining us, and Coach Ethan Kyle of Stillwater for joining us tonight. Congratulations to them on another state championship.
Great interviews.
Great interviews. Also, congratulations, Coach Connor Klein of Blackwell. And also, congratulations, Coach Gabe Ellis of Coweta. His first one ever. We're talking to Stillwater. We're talking to Blackwell. We're talking a Tuttle who've won multiple state. It's always cool for the win your first one. You always remember the first one.
Absolutely. And you could see it. You could see it on Coach Ellis, just the nervousness leading up to, and they've really haven't lost any matches hardly, and just sitting back watching his team go crazy, the crowd go crazy. He was so excited. You could just see just that it wasn't like a walk in a park. It wasn't like another Tuesday for him. It was like almost like a relief, but just, I don't know. His expression said it all. It was great to see. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Coweta wins it over their 3 opponents, 187-31. crazy. Earlier, I can't remember which coach it was, but he mentioned a name, and I wrote it down. I'm gonna see if you know this name, Ben Askren. Do you know anything about Ben, Shawn?
Yeah, Ben won a few Hodge trophies and a few national titles.
Okay. Did you ever go up against Ben?
Yeah, I wrestled Ben twice.
Ben twice.
We're 1-1.
1-1. Oh, okay. It's just a name that kind of jogged my memories.
But I got the last one.
Get the last one. There you go. There you go. All right. That'll do it. Don't forget to check out the YouTube page. Be sure to subscribe and like, because we're going to upload those videos, and you want to be sure to check those out. And while you're there, subscribe, like, watch the video. Just hit that like button. I think it helps us out for algorithms. I don't know. More people might. I don't know. Just hit the thumbs up, and it'll make us feel good when there's multiple thumbs up.
We'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll make us feel really good, and we'll tell Phil about it because he won't see it. So, all right, that'll do it, Shawn. Great as always. We'll come back and do it again next week.
Absolutely.
We're previewing state championships next week.
It'll be a good one.
It'll be a great one. All right. That'll do it here on the High School Huddle. For Shawn Silvis, I'm Chris Evans. We'll talk to you next week here on the High School Huddle.